Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the live chat. This is the #1 podcast on YouTube for political and geopolitical debate. You are watching the Perfect Timing Podcast. Back at it like a crack addict, automatic like a fomatic, built for tragedy, made for static. It's your boy, Perfect Timing Podcast, back with the blast, in and out with a dash. 2026 won't last, so we're going to get this done and get this cash. Everybody, let's blast off, baby. #1 podcast on YouTube for geopolitical and political debate. Coming in hot and fast, hot and ready. Double tap, hit the like button as you come in, man. What we discussing today, we back at, oh, man, we got a celebration. Oh, that MAGA. Oh, we got a celebration today. Yes, it's a celebration today. James, man, we got a celebration. Oh, that MAGA. Oh, that MAGA. Oh, we sound so good. Don't we sound so good? Sound so beautiful, don't you agree? We sounding good in the headphones. Comey indicted. Can I get it in the chat, man? Comey indicted. Can I get it in the chat, man? Comey indicted. Yes, that's right. We on our way, man. Comey indicted, man. I'm so excited. Hey, I'm so excited. Comey's indicted. And I cannot even hide it. I'm so excited. Comey's indicted. And I'm just so happy I can't even hide it. James Comey. What did he say? James Comey indicted, man. James Comey, you see my thumbnail, man. What was he doing? I sell seashells down by the seashore. Is that what Comey was doing? Comey was selling seashells down by the seashore. That's what Comey was doing. Comey was selling seashells down by the seashore, and he won't see no more. Double tap, hit the like button. Comey was selling seashells down by the seashore. He's getting indicted. He won't see the sea no more. He won't see the light of day. Comey, I'm so excited. Comey's indicted. Can we get Letitia James next? Can we finally get the prosecutor? What about Shifty Schiff, Adam Schiff? We got Ayanna Pressley stealing millions and millions allegedly. You know, Tim Walsh thinks he can step down. No, Tim Walsh, you can't step down. Tim Walsh thinks he can step down and just get away. That's not going to happen. We're not going to let Tim Walsh get away. We're not going to let Tim Walsh step down. Jacob Fry thinks he can step down. No. This is just the beginning, man. How do y'all feel about 2026? What do we do here? Trump news, giving Democrats the boo blues, Hey, y'all, welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. First person in the chat get shouted out. Remember, as you come in, hit the like button. That's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up for your boy, Perfect Timing Podcast. My name is Perfect. This is the Perfect Timing Podcast. As you come in, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live every day, Monday through Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. #1 podcast for geopolitical debate. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Once again, welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Show some love and respect and unity in the chat. This is America First, Make America Great Again. Show some love and respect and unity in the chat. This is the Trump No Kings, Comey indicted, and Pete Hegseth is on Capitol Hill right now. It's only a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Pete Hegseth, a bill ain't enough. Perfect Timing Podcast, Pete Hegseth said a bill ain't enough, homie. A bill ain't enough. Pete Hegseth said we need 1.5 trillion. Pete Hegseth said we need 1.5 trillion, brand new military budget. And the military budget is putting America first. How y'all feel about that? America first, 1.5 trillion, not just to finish off Iran, because Iran is already done, but 1.5 trillion to reinforce, you know what I'm saying? We got to rebuild, re-armorize, you know what I'm saying? All that good shit. But all that means is more money for you. For you as an employee, for you for you, if you're a contractor, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just very excited about what's happening in the world right now. Yesterday, we reported OPEC. We reported the UAE leaving OPEC. We saw the king in the White House. And then he made the announcement that he was leaving OPEC. Double tap, hit the like button. You can't make these things up. Now, when you look at the shift in the globe, when you looked at what's happened yesterday, how I explained OPEC in the UAE, in the global shift that we're going through. These are old 19th century Cold War, silent generation, baby boomer paradigms, right? And what I used to explain it is I used my knowledge in the Berlin Wall, the East and West Germany. So what I said was there was a young man who went to Cyprus who thought he could benefit. Cyprus is not in Europe, but it's part of the EU Union, right? And Cyprus has these great tax benefits where people go for a tax shelter. This gentleman thought he could benefit from the tax. He's only 21 years old. Come to find out, he couldn't benefit from the tax shelter because he is an EU resident. He's a UK resident and non-EU resident because of Brexit. What I said to everybody yesterday is the globe is changing. There's a global shift. There's a major global shift. When you look at NATO, when you look at Trump asking NATO to pay more money, when we find out Spain is a free rider, when we look at how Starmer, Spain, and Macron responded to our efforts in Iran, when you look at the Golden Dome and the request of Donald Trump to build this protection technology in Greenland, and everybody made it a joke, knowing that we would be in a global conflict. And it wasn't a joke when Europe, listen to this, it wasn't a joke. A lot of people say, Israel got us into a war in Iran, right? They say Bibi Netanyahu tricked Trump into a war in Iran. And I bring up, what about the Ukraine? Iran is not a nuclear power. Russia is a nuclear power. Who tricked us into getting into a war with Russia? Why is it only one conversation? Why is the conversation only one-sided? Right? The Democrats want to argue that Israel and Bibi Netanyahu tricked us into a war in Iran. Where's the conversation about who tricked us into a war with Russia? Russia is a nuclear power. Before Trump got elected, we were all terrified of World War III. Why were we terrified of World War III? Because Starmer, Macron, and NATO got us to back them by giving the Ukraine $300 billion and fighting Russia via the Ukraine as a proxy. But no one ever talks about that. We're hyper-focused on Israel and the Israeli boogeyman, right? Everybody in America right now doesn't like Jews, doesn't like Israel. So they say, we're in a war with Iran, America first. Israel tricked us. Wait a minute. We're in a war with Russia. Hello? Is this microphone on? We're still in a war with Russia. Trump is trying to get peace with Russia, but Russia is a nuclear power. Iran is not a nuclear power. Our goal is to stop Iran from becoming a nuclear power, but Iran is not a nuclear power. Russia is a nuclear power. But keep in mind my Cyprus example, because this is what pisses me off, because we have King Charles visiting. We have Scott Jennings saying that we need the monarchy, right, to hold up the West. But so we go to Ukraine in order to support this Western alliance, right? NATO, Europe. But come to find out, there is no more EU in the traditional sense. Why are we talking about NATO when after Brexit, this should have been a different conversation for intelligent people if we're talking about spending American dollars. After Brexit, if a young man who grew up in the UK can't go to Cyprus and benefit, why is NATO benefiting off of America? Think about it. A lot of these benefits are already gone. The Lords are gone out of the parliament. There's no more House of Lords. The monarchy has fallen. So if you are a UK citizen and a non-EU citizen and you don't benefit from the European Union, what is America paying for? Do you guys, what is America paying for? If they've already had this separation, who is our partner? Is the UK our partner, or is the EU our partner? Who is our? And neither one of them supported us in Iran. But I just want to frame this conversation as you guys don't forget, we're still in a war with Russia. We're still in a war with Russia, right? Somebody said, I'm glad EU didn't join Trump. Can you elaborate on why you're glad the EU didn't join Trump, right? After us paying $300 billion, there's somebody extremely ignorant in the chat saying America should not get a ROI, a return on their investment. Can you please explain to everybody watching why America doesn't deserve a return on their investment? Because that's all we're talking about. I'm not talking about kings, and I'm talking about $300 billion in America supporting Europe, because Russia does not pose a threat to America. We have our own oil. In fact, we're selling oil. We're selling gas. We have all the natural resources. We grow our own food. We have demographics. We have 18-year-olds. China doesn't have 18-year-olds. Russia doesn't have 18-year-olds. We don't feel Russia, the Cold War mathematics are over. Right? This is not the 19th century. Joe Biden is not the president. We don't have to listen to 80-year-old men try to scare us about a Russian boogeyman. That's why I bring up the Berlin Wall. That's why I continue to bring up the Berlin Wall, because I know people don't understand how far we are from this Russian boogeyman and fearing communism, especially when we have Zoran Madani and we have the socialist communist left trying to sign people up from the Communist Party in Minnesota. So I don't see how we're afraid of Russia. We don't have to fear Russia. So all I'm talking about is $300 billion to the Ukraine to protect Europe. That is actually separated. You may not understand what I'm arguing. I'm saying $300 billion to the Ukraine to protect, well, I guess protect the EU and protect. Think about what America is saying. All of these people are our little brother. We owe all of these people. So $300 billion to protect the European Union, but if you are a UK citizen, you don't benefit from the European Union. How does America get their ROI? This is all I'm talking about today. $300 billion to the Ukraine, and I understand why France and the EU and UK are afraid of Russia becoming a major power and Russia gaining more influence, because Russia borders the European Union. Russia, it doesn't border America. So I understand why Starmer is concerned. I understand why Macron is concerned. I understand why Spain is concerned with Putin and Russian proliferation and Russia becoming more powerful and gaining more resources. I get that. But it doesn't have anything to do with America. So who tricked us into spending $300 billion on protecting European ideology, on protecting the European Union, on protecting Spain and the UK? And what do we get? What do we get? Who tricked us into it? Listen, who tricked us into it? Because the Democrats in the left, the socialist left, keep saying Israel tricked us into Iran. So who tricked us into spending $300 billion, wasting lives, Tomahawk missiles, years, and almost starting a nuclear war with Russia? Who was that decision? Whose decision was that? Whose decision was? Remember, Russia is nuclear. Debate me. Somebody disagree in the chat. Somebody disagree. Whose decision was that? Whose decision was that? No one has an answer, right? Because this is the reality that we live in. This is the reality that we live in, right? Because this is the Trump derangement syndrome. People don't forget, we are in a war with Russia. Russia is a nuclear power. Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff was actively in Abu Dhabi in trilateral peace talks with Russia. I'll say it again. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner was in trilateral peace talks in Abu Dhabi with Russia. In Abu Dhabi with Russia. And as we are discussing peace talks in Abu Dhabi, what happened? Starmer and Macron meet with Zelensky on national TV and say, we are not with America and Iran. After $300 billion, after we help you protect you from Putin, after we help you protect you from Russia, Starmer gets on TV sitting on February 30th after we invade Iran. Starmer gets on TV sitting next to Zelensky and say, we need to focus on the Ukraine. The Ukraine lost 2 years ago. Starmer gets on TV sitting next to Zelensky and say, I am not with America. I am not with America in the Iran invasion. Europeans focus, or I guess the UK, because the UK is not, Britain is not part of the EU, but they don't say this when they're talking, right? They don't explain to Americans these nuances that Brexit has occurred, and there are very different separate things going on, to the point where if you're a UK citizen, UK citizens are non-EU citizens and don't benefit from the European Union in Cyprus and no taxes. But how does that affect Americans? Why would we invest $300 billion if NATO is crumbling within? If Europe is crumbling from within, what are we protecting? Ladies and gentlemen, please answer it. If the parliament no longer is accepting the Lords, what is King Charles doing here? What is King Charles doing here if in his own country, the people are saying we no longer cherish the monarchy in the same way? When you were born as a royal, you automatically had a seat in the parliament. It's called the Lords. Is anyone familiar with that? Relax and talk sports. Get the likes up. Listen to my brother right there. Relax and talk sports. Look, man, if the monarchy is no longer accepted in its own country, why is King Charles here? Why is Scott Jennings saying, and Scott Jennings is my brother from another mother. I love Scott Jennings, a fellow Republican, a fellow MAGA conservative, a supporter of Trump, but you're wrong about the royal. You're wrong about the monarchy. You're wrong about, because something is changing in the globe. Something is changing in the globe, or I argue has already changed with Donald Trump's tariffs. I believe it started with Donald Trump's tariffs. Then you go to Venezuela. Then you go to Cuba. Now Iran is starving. Iran is simply starving. Do you guys understand why Trump is no longer bombing Iran? Does everybody, because the legacy media has not been being forthright and upfront. Does everyone understand why Trump is not bombing Iran? Does everybody get it? The reason Trump is not bombing Iran is because Iran is dealing with intense internal strife. They have been dealing with starvation and mega inflation for the past 10 months, not starting February 28th. It didn't start February 28th, but after February 28th, when Trump and Pete Hegseth did their bombing campaign, they have disrupted supply chains. So in Iran right now today, they can't get insulin. If the Straits of Hormuz are closed, that means you can't get goods. All of those ships in the bay are cargo carriers. What are they carrying, you might ask? Medical supplies, bandages, insulin, antibiotics. You need this to take care of your people. Right now, Iran, like Cuba, doesn't have the insulin necessary to open and run their hospitals, the antibiotics necessary to run their hospitals. Right now, Iran cannot run their hospitals, cannot run their schools, just like Cuba. Right now, Iran does not have flour. They don't have food. They are in lines. Iran has had bread lines since the 12-Day War, where they created their own state loaf of bread, but they ran out of that. They ran out of that months ago. After Trump and the bombing campaign, the successful bombing campaign of Pete Hegseth in the Department of War, Iran now has an inability to get wheat from Russia. Beyond them having an inability to get wheat from Russia, they no longer have the processing plants to process the raw wheat they can no longer get from Russia because we have destroyed the supply chains. We also destroyed the flour mills, and they no longer can turn wheat into flour. People are starving in Cuba. People are starving in Iran. This is why Trump is not bombing Cuba. This is why Trump is not bombing Iran. It is not necessary for us to bomb Iran. Iran is crumbling internally. It already was. They killed 35,000 of their own people. They've had protests daily since the 12-Day War. Every day protests in Tehran. You don't know about it because CNN didn't go there 10 months ago. CNN only went there February 28th to talk shit about Donald Trump. But CNN could have went to Iran from the past 10 months. CNN could have been reporting on the protests, on the IRGC killing 35,000. CNN could have been reporting on the bread lines, on the starvation, on the inflation that's existed since the 12-Day War. They haven't done that. They haven't done that. They haven't done any of those things. you have to come to YouTube. You have to come to the Perfect Timing podcast. Double tap hit the like button. You have to come to YouTube. You have to come to the Perfect Timing podcast to get the truth, to find out that, wait a minute, why are we invading Cuba? They're starving. The hospitals are closed. They're negotiating with Marco Rubio. Why aren't we invading Iran? We have 10,000 troops. We have ground troops there. We have 3 aircraft carriers. And what did we just learn from OPEC and the UAE leaving OPEC? We're building brand new bases and facilities. You know what the question I keep asking the people who don't understand that Iran is lost and America won? I've asked another question, a crucial question. How long do you believe we will be there? This is integral to what is actually going on and what will happen when we talk about OPEC. If you understand OPEC, if you understand the cartels and the oil and what was really going on in global oil, how Venezuela and Iran were using unsanctioned oil tankers illegal. They were selling oil illegally on the black market. How many people understand how they were funding the proxies like Hezbollah? This was not legal money. This is never talked about on the legacy media. This was black market money. Venezuela was illegally selling oil via unsanctioned ships. Joe Biden actually sanctioned the oil tanker that we took. Hello, is this microphone on? Joe Biden sanctioned the oil tanker that we took. We took 20 oil tankers from Venezuela, sanctioned by Joe Biden, sanctioned by the global markets because they were illegally transporting oil. A lot of the tankers transporting oil out of the Straits of Hormuz are illegal. They are not insured. They are not safe. How many of you know this? This is black market money. Venezuela, remember the oil tanker, the famed oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, who immediately tried to switch their flag to a Guyanan flag, who had hyper technology to hide from submarines, hide from satellites. The question at that time was, where did they get the technology on this piece of shit little oil tanker? Now we know they were getting the tech from Iran. Now we know Venezuela was working with Iran in back channels, selling unsanctioned oil via unsanctioned tankers. How many people know this? So the question I ask is, how long do you think America, after America was in Afghanistan and Iraq for 20 years, Pete Hegseth is asking for $1.5 trillion right now. Pete Hegseth is asking for this is a real question for anyone who's paying attention, who actually cares and who has half a brain. If I only had a brain, Pete Hegseth is asking for $1.5 trillion on Capitol Hill right now. Right now. And what do you think the $1.5 trillion is for? My question is, if Pete Hegseth, and I call him on my channel, we call him Pete Heggy Baby. Pete Heggy Baby in the Department of War. How long? And you notice there's no rebuttal. No one has any answer. How long will we be there? I mean, in an intelligent, speculative, how long do you see America in the region, knowing how many troops we have there, knowing that we have 3 aircraft carriers there, knowing that Iran is starving and we're playing a waiting game? We were in Afghanistan 20 years. We were in Iraq 20 years. Before I ask the next logical question, I need an answer from someone in the chat. How long? And when you answer, hit the like button. And I want to say thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to everybody watching. We are discussing Trump, no kings, Comey indicted, and a $1.5 trillion budget request from Pete Hegseth. Now, I'm qualifying this question. This is the context. As we show this video of Pete Hegseth, I'm asking, what do you think the $1.5 trillion is for? That's a lot of fucking money. So when you look at Pete Hegseth asking for a $1.5 trillion Pentagon defense budget, the largest we've ever had in years, it begs the question, how long will we be there? How long will we be there? How long will we be there? How long will we be in Iran? Why can't we get an honest question? How can we get an honest answer? How long will we be in Iran? If we were in Afghanistan for 20 years, we have 3 aircraft carriers. Huh? If we have 3 aircraft carriers, how long? Anybody want to give a guess? Anybody want to give a guess? How long will we be in Iran? Do you know why they won't answer the question? Do you know why there's no response to this question? It's a very easy question, very logical question. Huh? How long do you think the Americans will be there? They can't say it, man. Relax and talk sports, man. In the building, man. Relax and talk sports, man. So you had a membership, man. Bridge was giving out members. I was about to say, show them emojis, man. We had like 10 new members yesterday. As the new members come in, I want you to show your emojis, man. Relax and Talk Sports said we not leaving. So Relax and Talk Sports. If you with me right now, I'm asking the crowd, how long will we be in this region? We have 3 aircraft carriers and over 60,000 troops in the region. And we were in Afghanistan for 20 years. So if you hear my question and my logic, and I'm asking how long will we be there? Hey, look at them emojis, man. Let's go. Let's go. So when we say membership has its privileges, y'all, join the channel like my brother. Join the channel, become a member, support the channel, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get the likes up right now. We will have a presence to control the oil markets. I agree. Now, keep in mind, now everybody's not answering, bro. Everybody's not answering, and you know why they're not answering. They don't like the answer because it leads to what I'm saying about America winning and Trump winning. That's why they won't answer the question. We will keep a presence there. Now think about the UAE, the king being in the White House yesterday, and him announcing that the UAE is leaving OPEC. Now remember the oil embargo in the 70s. I was born in the 70s. A lot of my audience was born before the 70s and lived through the 70s. Some of my audience had a car in the 70s. And they remember the oil crisis when OPEC controlled over 50% of the world's oil. And it was an illegal oil cartel, and it led to droughts in oil in America. After that, because of Trump and drill, baby, drill. Can I get drill, baby, drill in the chat? Drill, baby, drill, and Donald Trump. We are oil. We are not only oil sufficient, we are oil and energy rich, and we are the #1 oil suppliers, and some say the only drugstore open on the motherfucking block. The only drugstore open on the motherfucking block. I show a video of tankers full of oil on their way to Japan. I reported on my chat $7 billion has already been made from Venezuela. It's in the offshore account in Qatar. What are you talking about? You're making money from Venezuela? Yes, not Israel, not Macron, not France, not NATO, not none of the bullshit that liberals and fucking trolls and all you kings talk about. America, 7 billion motherfuckers, 7 billion, say it in the chat, 7 billion from Venezuela. No, Bibi Netanyahu, the Iron Dome is failing. I bet Israel could use some of that money. They're not getting Epstein money. We're getting Epstein money. No, they're not getting none of this motherfucking money. America is getting billions. America is getting billions, $7 billion from motherfucking Venezuela, in a Qatari account. Israel's not getting shit. Russia's not getting shit. Russia is going to come back into the G8. Russia is going to spend the petrodollar. Did anybody tell you? No, you heard it here first. As I told you about the 200 oil tankers coming to America, as I told you about, you got to buy dope from us. If you want to ball keys, if you want to stack G's, you got to buy dope from us. As I told you about all of these people, necessity to buy gas from America, I said, and it just came to me as an epiphany. Now you hear it on legacy media because they fucking listen to me. Now they listen to me. I said, how are they going to buy the oil? And we talked about the strength of the petrodollar. That was shit under Biden. The dollar was shit under Biden. I said to my chat first, this is the #1 channel on YouTube. This is the #1 channel on YouTube for geopolitical and domestic debate when it comes to this politics and news. I create the motherfucking wave. We own the space. Me and my chat, we having a discussion. I said, well, wait a minute. If all of these countries have to buy oil from us, don't they got to buy it in dollars? And me and my chat went crazy. That was over 2 weeks ago. That was over 2 weeks ago when me and my chat figured out. And now you hear on every legacy media how strong the dollar is. You hear about the petrodollar. The petrodollar was dead. The dollar was dead. America was dead. BRICS was on the rise. Just 14 months ago, I wish there was some intellect out there. Double tap, hit the like button, get the likes up. Don't fuck me over in the algorithm. All of you old fogies out there, double tap everybody watching right now, like the fucking show. The fuck is wrong with you? Like the fucking show. Don't fuck me over in the algorithm. Hit the fucking like button. Don't fuck me over in the algorithm. Hit the like button. Double tap the motherfucking screen. Hit the like button. Let's keep having an intellectual conversation. Because too many people don't know what the fuck is going on in America. I asked Jane, Barry, Bruce, how long will America be in Iran, in the region? Because I have another question for the haters. How long? And no, Relax and Talk Sports said we're not leaving, people. We were in Afghanistan 20 years. How long will we be? Three aircraft carriers. How long will we be there? Relax and Talk Sports. My brother from another mother. Do you know why I ask how long we will be in Iran? Because the next logical question is, how long can Iran go with supply chains disrupted? No flour, no antibiotics, no insulin, no bandages. This is the logical question. This is why I say America won, Iran lost. How long? And it don't take 20 years, everybody. That's why nobody won't answer the question in the chat. It don't take 20 years. It don't take 20 years for Iran to wither and die on the motherfucking vine. See, there's a problem with the liberals in America. The liberals in America empathize with Iranian white Persians who are Shia jihadists. So there are motherfuckers right now who don't want to answer because they feel sorry for these Shia jihadists and white Persians who kill women, and who kill young men, and who kill gays. Americans empathize with the white Persian Iranian. But you should empathize with the Iranian Kurd. You should empathize with the Iranian Jew. You should empathize with the Iranian Christian. You should empathize with the Iranian Catholic. There were 3 million non-Muslims who were native Iranians who got pushed out by these Shia Muslims who don't like anything but Muslim. The Kurdish woman who was beat and unalived, she was wearing a hijab, but she wasn't Muslim. They didn't care. They beat her and unalived her. But you empathize with them and you refuse to answer the question because you know the logical end. See, I say the purple-haired protesting Democrat cannot complete the motherfucking thought. They have an inability to complete thought. You know the answer. You know Iran is done. You know the answer. You know Iran is done. Somebody said a month tops. We've been there over a month. Use your fucking mind. I said 20 years in Afghanistan and we've been there over a month. So you get executed out the motherfucking chat. You get executed out the motherfucking chat. Bye, dum-dum. Bye, dum-dum. Bye, dum-dum. We were in Afghanistan 20 years, and we've been there over a month. Cuba has been starving for 3 months. Cuba has been starving for 3 months. Cuba has a 96,000 backlog. The hospitals are closed. The universities are closed. They have no water. They have no food. They have no lights. They have 18-hour blackouts daily in Cuba for the past 3 months. He said, I empathize with Iranian Christians. Give him some motherfucking props in the chat. Give him some motherfucking props in the chat. These purple-haired protesting white liberal Democrats don't even know there were Iranian Christians who were getting persecuted by the IRGC and the Shiite Muslim regime. In the Shiite Muslim regime. Bruce said he gave me the answer, but I ignored it, and I don't even see it. So, Bruce, you kicked out the fucking chat. Bruce, you executed from the fucking chat. I second the emotion you was dropped from the clear. A bunch of these chats is bitches too. A bunch of these chats look just like you. So if you ever been told on, let's go out and get our roll on. Punk ass punk, you get a stole on. Chat with your bitch ass. Let's keep rocking and rolling in this motherfucker. Let's keep rocking and rolling in this motherfucker. Coming with that heat. Coming with that Trump news, Trump news, Trump news. Giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. Giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. They get hurt when they can't think and answer the motherfucking question. They get hot and bothered when they can't answer the motherfucking question, and they never stay on topic. I asked you, stupid motherfucking trolls, one question. How long will we be in Iran? How long will we be in the region? They can't answer. I think they think it's funny. I think they're together playing with themselves like little children. Let's not answer. Let's not answer. It's okay. You don't have to answer because $1.5 trillion. We are logical intellectuals here. Double tap, hit the like button, get the likes up. We are logical intellectuals here. And the fact of the matter is, we will be there long enough for Iran to starve. And they're starving now. Cuba is starving now. So the whole point of my questioning is, as we get into this is the lead up to the Pete Hegseth video. When I ask you how long will America be there, see, last week, listen to me. Last week, people who don't like America were saying America can't afford to stay in the region. Last week, people who don't love America, who are not America first, they were saying, well, they can't afford to stay there because they know the logical progression to that thought. If America stays in the region for an extended amount of time, Iran will fall. Iran does not have time on their side. Fact to the matter, Iran does not have time on their side. So Iran is going to fall because Pete Hegseth is asking for $1.5 trillion. This will allow us to stay in the region for an extended period of time, over a year. Iran, we've already crippled them. We've crippled their Navy, their Air Force. Iran cannot have the Straits of Hormuz closed for a year. See, this is another logical question. Who benefits of the Straits of Hormuz? Who can live? Russia can't live with it. China can't live with it. Iran can't live with it. Europe is already trying to go through back channels to buy oil from Iran. Europe is struggling. Europe is having food issues. Look, if you don't logically understand what we're talking about, that's fine. If you don't logically understand what we're talking about, that's fine. You can still hit the like button, subscribe, and support the channel. You can send me a gift, send me a super chat. What you need to understand, though, the complexities of this, it's not just Iran dealing with the food issues. America has rising oil prices, and we're oil rich. I'm going to say it again. America is dealing with rising gas prices, and we're oil rich. So what about countries who are not oil rich, who are not Iran? With the Straits of Hormuz closed, everyone in the world is hurting. But who hurts the most? Who can outlast the longest? Well, America is oil rich. The Straits of Hormuz being closed has turned the petrodollar back strong. The globe has to buy oil and gas from America. America is making money from oil and gas. We're making money from Venezuela. How long can Iran, if we get the $1 trillion from the capital, we're going to stay outside of Iran for an extended period of time? Iran has been starving for the last 10 months. Cuba has been starving for the last 3 months. How long can Cuba starve? How long can Iran starve? Because America is not starving. It's the same logic when I said Tel Aviv has been bombed, but no American cities have been bombed. Israel is being bombed. No American cities have been bombed. So the question is, how long can Iran suffer with the Straits of Hormuz being closed? See, this is a logical question. How long can they go with the Straits? Europe is not happy with us. Europe is right now, just America is oil rich and we have high gas prices. Do you guys know Europe is suffering right now? Europe is dealing with high gas, just like America, but higher, because they are not oil rich. Europe is not oil rich. They are dealing with high food and high inflation because we have closed the Straits of Hormuz. Everyone is dealing with it. This is why the UAE has left OPEC. The UAE, they wanted a swap line. Does everybody know what was behind the UAE leaving OPEC? Does everybody know what a swap line is? Do you know how geopolitics and the global economy has shifted and pointed toward the Americans? Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump. The Saudis are kissing our ass. Did you hear Trump say he didn't want to kiss my ass? Did you hear Trump say the king did not want to kiss my ass, but they need dollars? They needed a swap line because they are running out of dollars because everyone has to buy dope from us. If you want to ball keys, if you want to stack G's, you got to buy dope from us. We the only store open on the block. So they needed a swap line because they are dollar poor. Does anybody know what we're talking about? They needed a swap line because they are dollar poor. And everyone buying oil from the king of New York, Donald Trump, everyone coming to America to buy oil from the king of New York, Donald Trump, needs to spend dollars. If you're dollar poor, you are in trouble right now. If you are one of the people who liquidated your dollars for cryptocurrency, you can't buy oil with cryptocurrency. Oil is the new gold. It makes the dollar strong. Remember BRICS? BRICS was built on crypto digital currency. Unfortunately, those nations are not oil rich. China is not oil rich. So they must now buy oil in dollars. Everything has shifted in the globe. BRICS was digital currency. It rivaled America. A lot of countries said we're leaving the dollar. During Biden's era, a lot of countries said we're leaving the dollar for BRICS and digital currency, cryptocurrency. But now today, those same countries are dollar poor, and they needed a swap line. A swap line. They needed dollars. So in exchange, the king of New York struck a deal. In exchange, the king of New York struck a deal. You know, the art of the deal. You know, Donald Trump, the king of New York, no kings, the president. He struck a deal with the UAE and said, I'll give you a swap line for your dollars so you can buy oil because you're dollar poor, but you have to leave OPEC. And after this Iran conflict, after we've settled everything, because I'm not leaving, I'm going to protect you. You're my ally. You are afraid of Iran. I have 3 oil tankers there, 3 aircraft carriers. We're not leaving. We're going to protect you. But after this thing is over, you need to produce more oil. 10 million, your full capacity, driving down the cost of oil for Americans. That was the deal. And then the king announced, we are leaving OPEC, crippling a cartel. Do you know what OPEC is? OPEC is a cartel. OPEC is an illegal oil cartel. They price fix. They caused oil embargoes in the 70s. They had control of over 50% of the oil. They are an illegal cartel. Trump, your president that everybody in the chat has something negative about, just broke up one of the largest cartels in Cold War paradigms. Things are happening in the globe that some of us thought that wouldn't happen while we were alive. Cuba no longer being communist, a lot of us did not think that would happen while we were alive. Russia and their changing ideology, a lot of us didn't think that would happen while we were alive. What's happening with the petrodollar and what's happening in South America, a lot of us didn't think we would see this. What's happening in Iran, in the Iranian people, in the revolution that they don't put on TV, the 30,000 people who were unalived by the IRGC and the Muslim Shia jihadists. See, they are not telling you there's a change, a shift in the globe. What's happening in NATO, what's happening with the UK in Europe, what's happening with the monarchy. Do you guys understand what's happening with the Europe, with the monarchy in the House of Lords being kicked out of the parliament? If you take a look and you take a step back and you look at geopolitics, if you understand it, you have to see things are shifting. There are new leaders. You know, when you come into a corporate presentation and you have to know who the decision makers and the key players are in the room, things are shifting, whether you like it or not. Under Donald Trump, the globe has shifted. Even before Trump with Brexit. Remember, I bring up Brexit. I bring up EU. I bring up UK non-EU citizens. The globe has changed. I bring up NATO. I bring up Spain not being able to pay for its own protection. If Spain doesn't have NATO, how does Spain protect itself? It would have to militarize, but Spain doesn't have the money. Spain doesn't have the demographics to develop an army with the force to protect itself. Spain does not pay into NATO. Spain, Pedro Sanchez in Spain, who called my president a terrorist, does not pay into NATO. We pay for Spain's protection. We not only pay for it, we provide it because they don't have the ability to protect themselves. So what happens to countries like Spain when we leave NATO? The globe is shifting, ladies and gentlemen. The globe is shifting. We're not leaving the region until Iran changes regime. And we don't have to bomb Iran. We're not leaving the region until Iran changes regime. We're going to stay and block the Straits of Hormuz until they are crippled and can no longer have a hospital, have a school, or have a bakery. When all the bakeries are closed, when there are no more food, when all the hospitals are closed and you can't get medicine, then Iran, like Cuba, will come to America just like the Saudis just did, just like UAE just did. They will ask America for a deal. We don't have to do shit to Iran. We don't have to do shit else to Iran. Iran is done. Just like Cuba is done. They will come to us and they will ask for a deal because they will need insulin. They will need antibiotics. They will need flour. The necessities that you in America who can go to a Costco, who can go to a Walmart, take for granted. You have a Walmart, you have a Costco. You take for granted that you have access to food and water. That's not true in Cuba. That's not true in Iran right now. And for the past 10 months, they have been dealing with this scarce inflation in Iran. It didn't start February 28th. I wish you knew more about this issue. I wish you knew about on the ground. I wish you knew about the Kurds. I wish you knew about the Iranian Christians. I wish you knew about the Iranian Catholics. I wish you knew about the 3 million non-Muslim Iranians who have been persecuted. You know how many there are now? There are only 200,000 when there were over 3 million non-Muslim Iranians, native to Iran, born and raised in Iran. How many people knew that Iran had people born and raised in Iran who were not Muslim? Kurds, Christian, Jews, Catholics, all born in Iran. Iran was not always what you think you know it is to be. They were persecuted under the IRGC and the Ayatollah Khomeini and the morality police. So they left. I have friends on YouTube. I have a brother, his name is 300. He talked about leaving Iran. He talked about the inflation on Iran. This is not new. They left. He fled Iran as a child. I have friends in America who fled Iran. You have Catholic, Jewish, Christian friends. They live in America now. They had to flee Iran because of the Shia jihadist Muslim IRGC regime and how they treated Christians, how they treated Kurds. Today, Pete Hegseth asking for $1.5 trillion because I asked my chat, everybody watching now, what we're discussing is Iran. Pete Hegseth asking for 1.5 trillion. And I put forth, I'm telling you guys why Pete Hegseth is asking for 1.5 trillion. It's because we need the money to stay in the region and watch Iran wither on the vine. If everybody's wondering, how is America going to handle this? Well, 1.5 trillion gives us the money and ability to stay there and play the waiting game with Iran. And Iran cannot hold out because right now they are starving. Cuba is starving. So I say Iran got 6 months. 6 months at tops, but we're going to be there indefinitely. What you see with OPEC and the UAE, America's not leaving the region. We got money there. America is in play. So you can see for the next coming 2 years, America and its presence is going to continue to build up over the next 2 years, thanks to this $1.5 trillion. With that, Iran will make a deal because they will need flour. Europe will need oil.
On Capitol Hill as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth testified for the first time since the war began.
The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans.
Hegseth facing scrutiny from Democrats.
Secretary Hegseth, you have been lying to the American public about this war from day one, and so has the president.
But firing back.
The president has got himself and America stuck in the quagmire of another war in the Middle East.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months.
Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! Woo! Love that boy. I love that boy. That's some sauce right there. Put some sauce on it for him, Pete. Sauce me down, you do too much. Sauce me down, you do too much. Sauce me down. Pete Hegseth, Department of War. Oh, that MAGA. Oh, that MAGA. He cut to the quick of it. You don't like the troops. After 2 months, that's what you got to say about our troops? Whoa, that was powerful. Pete Hegseth, Department of War, Capitol Hill, $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion.
The president has got himself and America stuck in the quagmire of another war in the Middle East.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in.
And one Republican criticizing Hegseth too over his firing of several senior military leaders.
I would just point out it may be constitutionally right. You have the constitutional right to do these things, but it doesn't make it right or wise.
Hegseth also dodging questions about how much longer the war might last as it enters week 9, well beyond President Trump's initial timeline of 4 to 6 weeks.
Anybody in the chat, how much longer will America be there? How much longer will the war last? I've been asking that for the past few minutes because it's relevant to whether or not Iran could sustain, because Iran is starving right now. They don't have flour. They don't have bread. They don't have the antibiotics, the insulin to run hospitals similar to Cuba. How long can Iran go with the supply chains shut down, with the inability to feed their soldiers, pay their soldiers, feed their people, and fucking get children medical care? This is a relevant question. How long will we be in the region, everybody? We were in Afghanistan 20 years. Pete Hegseth is asking for $1.5 trillion. So yes, the actual question is, how long are we going to be there? If you need $1.5 trillion, how long will we be there? But if you understand that Iran is starving from inflation, a lack of flour, and a lack of energy, and a lack of resources because of supply chains, you understand why it's relevant how long we're there. It's extremely relevant how long we're there, because that is how we win the war. We've already won, if you guys understand this debate we're having today.
The war might last as it enters week 9, well beyond President Trump's initial timeline of 4 to 6 weeks.
Mr. Secretary, how many more months, just order of magnitude, do you think that you're going to need to be able to conclude operations successfully?
As you know, and as the president has stated, you would never tell your adversary.
And now, for the first time today, the Pentagon revealing the Iran war's cost on the American taxpayer, $25 billion.
So you're saying $25 billion so far. We've been there 9 weeks, and I've been talking all morning, $300 billion to the Ukraine. So almost 6 to 8 times more money spent in the Ukraine, and we're still fighting in the Ukraine. Starmer and Macron refuse to support us in Iran. And as everyone says, Israel tricked us into the fight in Iran. We are benefiting. The petrodollar has benefited. America is the #1 exporter of oil and energy thanks to this effort in Iran. But what did America get for $300 billion to protect Spain, to protect Macron, to protect Starmer? We almost started a world war with the nuclear power. Iran is not a nuclear power. Russia is a nuclear power. So the next time you're at the barbershop, the next time you're at the dinner table, and your purple hair protester 20-year-old kid says, Trump got manipulated by Bibi Netanyahu. Ask him who manipulated us to go to Ukraine, because we spent $300 billion in Ukraine. So far, we spent $20 billion in Iran, but that $20 billion has bought the petrodollar back from death. The petrodollar was dead. BRICS and cryptocurrency countries. The reason why UAE left OPEC, it's because they needed a swap line, because they were dollar poor, because countries were getting rid of the dollar and trading over to BRICS and cryptocurrency under Biden. The dollar was dead. The dollar was dead. The dollar was dead. The dollar was dead. So for $20 billion, the dollar is the shit. America is the shit. America is the #1 exporter. This is what we get for $20 billion. This is what we get for invading Iran. I need to know from the intellectual purple-haired socialist left, what did we get from our $300 billion Biden? Kamala said at Munich, Ukraine gets to be part of NATO. Ukraine has a right to be part of NATO. The next thing you know, Putin starts bombing NATO. Putin starts bombing Ukraine. Kamala, DEI hire, Kamala, not ready for the job, is the reason why we're in a war with Russia, the nuclear power. But no one ever talks about how we got manipulated. Who got us in the war with Russia? How much did that war cost? What was the benefit from America? See, we went to Ukraine to protect our European allies. I said we went to Ukraine to protect and support our European allies. We went to Ukraine $300 billion times to protect Macron, to protect Starmer, to protect Pedro Sanchez freeloading ass. That's why we went to Ukraine, to support our allies. They feared Russia's proliferation. Putin is getting too powerful. Putin may want to invade Europe. America, you're our friend. America is part of the West. Europe is the West. Russia is not the West. Russia is the East. We have to stop Russian proliferation. And Biden said, okay. Why didn't we ever talk about that? Russia is not a threat to America. Biden said, okay. Biden said, we have the Russia hoax. We have the Russia collusion. We have Obama lying about Trump and Russia. We have Hillary Clinton and the Steele dossier. We have all this Russia collusion that turned out to be a lie. in order to sell you. So I need to know if you understand who really got manipulated, who really got played. Russia hoax, Steele dossier, Russia collusion to get $300 billion invested in the Ukraine, knowing that Biden was playing dirty pool in the Ukraine, knowing that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, knowing that Joe Biden was doing quid pro quos for backdoor deals. Hunter Biden getting backdoors, really? Hunter Biden getting backdoors, really? So $300 billion, what do you think the Biden mafia, where do you think that money went? The Clinton mafia, $300 billion to the Ukraine? Because of a non-existent Cold War 19th century boogeyman? Biden is 80 years old. We haven't had to fear Russia since the birth. Do you know, and I'm going to keep saying this, when I talk about the Ukraine and Russia and Biden selling you on the Russian collusion and Russian hoax and the Russian boogeyman and Russia coming to get me, Russia's coming to get me, Russia. This is why I bring up Berlin. This is why I bring up the Berlin Wall, because I want people to understand that so much of my audience doesn't know about the Berlin Wall in East and West Germany. If you guys don't know about the Berlin Wall in East and West Germany, why did you buy that BS from Biden? That you had to fear communism and fear Russia and fear Putin. You don't even know what the Berlin Wall is. You don't even know about East and West Germany. You don't know about the speech when Reagan said, Gorbachev, tear down that wall. You don't know who Gorbachev is. Why did you believe Biden and the Democrats? If you don't know about Berlin, if you don't know about these things in East and West Germany and geopolitics after World War II, why did you believe Biden? Why did you believe the Democrats? Why did you back 300 billion? Why did you back the Democrats training the Azov battalion who were Nazi neo-Nazis and making the military, putting the neo-Nazi leader in the parliament, making Macron, who was an actor and a comedian, president? Macron is president since 2014. Is that a president? These are relevant. As you say, someone tricked us into Iran. Macron has been president since 2014. Who tricked us into that? Is that a president or is that a king? No kings, right? No kings, right? Macron has been in power since 2014. What is that? This is an honest question. Macron has been in power since 2014. I mean, Zelensky has been in power since 2014. If Zelensky, is that a president? Is Zelensky the president, or is he the king of Ukraine? And if he's the president, can anybody tell me, as they act Pete Hegseth, how long will we be in Iran? Can anybody on the Democratic left tell me how long will Zelensky be in power? As you protest no kings, I wish they had a sign at the protest that said Zelensky step down. Zelensky step down. Zelensky, Ukraine deserves an honest election. Hey, Zelensky, step down. We don't believe in kings. You've been there over 10 years. Macron is king of France. Thank you. That's why that was a Freudian slip. Same thing with Macron. How long has he been in power? How long has Macron been in power? Starmer is on his way out. Starmer 18%. Starmer on his way out. The parliament just kicked out the lords, the royals, the monarchy has fallen. The EU and Britain has changed forever since Brexit. These are real things. Let's get back to the video, because I just want people to understand what's going on in geopolitics, man. How long Putin been in power? But see, the thing about Putin is Putin doesn't say he's a president. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Maduro. Maduro is a dictator. Biden called him a dictator. They actually had an elected president. Biden spoke to the president on the phone. January 2025. Listen to this. January 2025, right before Trump took office, Biden is on the phone. Biden is on the phone with the newly elected president of Venezuela. It's not Maduro. Biden on the phone congratulates him and says, Maduro is a dictator. Maduro is a dictator. And Biden raises the bounty. Are you guys listening? Biden raises the bounty on Maduro's head. He speaks to the newly elected president calls Maduro a dictator, puts a bounty. What is a bounty, everybody? Biden put a bounty. I wonder if it was dead or alive. What was it, 10 million? What was it, 10 million? Huh?
Saying the full cost at this point is $25 billion.
Yeah, that's our estimate for the cost.
I'm glad you answered that question because we've been asking for a hell of a long time and no one's given us the number.
And President Trump today telling Axios he rejected a peace plan from Iran, which would have lifted the U.S. naval blockade and reopened the Strait of Hormuz, but delaying nuclear talks. Meanwhile, Iran's parliamentary speaker today saying they will unite to defeat the enemy and achieve victory.
They want the Straits of Hormuz open. They want the Straits of Hormuz open because they are starving. Did you hear that? Iran wants the Straits of Hormuz open because they are starving. And Trump and Pete and JD Vance are saying we're not opening up the Straits until you guys come to grips on the issue of nukes, right? Here's one of the things I showed, because I keep saying it. It's one thing to say it, but some people are visual learners. Some people are visual learners about what's going on in Iran right now.
The first thing to vanish in Iran wasn't the missiles, it was the bread. A video posted on X reveals a heartbreaking scene in Malard, on the outskirts of Tehran. Crowds of women and children waiting in endless lines as flour supplies run dry. This reflects the crushing weight of daily life as Iran's economy spirals, supply chains fracture, and the Islamic regime forces civilians to shoulder the cost of its gross mismanagement. While the dictatorship pours funds into stockpiling missiles and weaponry to defy the U.S., domestic flour reserves have been completely depleted.
So you guys see the AI videos. You guys see the propaganda of all the missiles that they have. Ooh, Iran has all these missiles. Ooh, Iran is going to beat America. Iran this, Iran that. You don't see this video. You don't see the truth. This is why you have protests in Iran going back 10 months. This is why the IRGC killed over 35,000 of their own people. Now, everybody in Iran is Muslim. I'll repeat, not everybody in Iran is Muslim. The social contract has broken down. How many people have heard about Iranian soldiers not being paid? It's deeper than that. Iranian soldiers are not being paid because they don't have money. They don't have money. The money is all messed up because of inflation. And Iran has gone through this before. 500% inflation to where the money has no value. So you can't pay the soldiers because they can't spend the money on food. Everyone is hungry. The soldiers aren't being paid. Soldiers' wives and children are standing in line for state-sanctioned bread. How many people know that Iran has a state loaf? Let me look this up. What is Iran state loaf of bread? Give me that deep dive. Y'all want to hear about the state loaf of bread deep dive? This is why Trump is winning in Iran. As of April 2026, the state of bread in Iran is a critical economic political issue marked by skyrocketing prices, shortages, and erosion of primary food staple into a luxury item for many. According to reports from Iran International and NCRI, bread, traditionally a red line for the poor, has seen massive price hikes, with some accounts suggesting a 400% increase in some areas. That means people are starving. That means people are starving. You can't afford it if you're poor. If something goes up 400%, you can't afford it if you're poor, with some accounts suggesting a 400% increase in some areas, causing intense pressure on household budgets. Here is the deep dive. The crisis of soaring prices, price explosions. By April 2026, bread prices have exceeded official rates. Reports indicate that a single loaf of Barbary bread in Tehran costs as much as 7,000 to 250,000 reals in various areas, driven by removal of subsidies. This is because of the blockade. Army of the hungry. As of February 2026, the price of bread, coupled with an average 15 million Taman salary, has left many households unable to afford even basic food staples. Going back to February, Widespread shortages. Bakeries are facing flour shortages and cannot keep up with long lines for customers, causing further stress on households, according to reports in April. The 500,000 real scenario. Early 2026 suggests that 500,000 Iranian reals might not even buy enough to buy a single loaf of bread. Are you guys listening? Because I don't hear this on CNN. And this is on the ground because people keep talking about, this is what's happening on the ground in Iran. I'm the only person giving you real data of what's really happening in Iran. And that's why it's relevant to how long will the Americans stay in the region. We have 3 aircraft carriers there now. We were in Afghanistan 20 years. Pete Hegseth is asking for 1.5 trillion. Pete Hegseth is asking for 1.5 trillion. How long will we stay in the region? How long will we keep the straits blocked? Because Iran will starve and they will come to the table and make a deal. If we stay there, we don't have to send no more bombs. This is the reality on the ground. We have disrupted supply chains. We have disrupted supply chains from Russia. So they can't even get flour in. So with the 1.5 trillion, how long will America stay in the region? But beyond that, how long can Iran survive if we keep the straits closed? The dominant supplier, you guys, I want you to listen. The dominant supplier for Iranian wheat is Russia. Russia provides nearly 100% of Iran's imported wheat. For the 2025-2026 season between July and 26, Iran imported approximately 1.9 million tons of Russian wheat. Strategic trade court to bypass traditional Black Sea routes impacted by the conflict, Russia has resumed using the Caspian Sea as a primary trade artery. Key ports like Askertan and Ahmedabad are central to this corridor, which is seen as a safer logistic route. Trade agreements, agriculture between the two nations are projected to reach 700 million by March 2026 under comprehensive signed early. Now let's talk about the flour plants and milling. Iran is shifting away, but milling, despite on domestic milling, are under severe pressure due to rising energy transportation costs. Listen, despite the focus on domestic plants, milling margins are under severe pressure due to rising energy and transportation costs, which have increased by over 50% during the conflict. This is what's going on the ground. They can't get flour into the country. They can't even mill the flour that they get into the country because they have oil and fuel shortages, all because of the blockade and the Americans.
As the threat of famine looms larger, how much longer can the Iranian people endure this?
Listen to this. Listen to this.
The first thing to vanish in Iran wasn't the missiles, it was the bread.
The first thing to vanish in Iran wasn't the missiles. It was the bread. The first thing to vanish in Iran wasn't the missiles. It was the bread. It was the bread. Huh? It was the bread. What's going on? Why ain't they telling you the truth? Why ain't they telling you the truth? Why ain't they telling you the truth? I'm not the first person telling you that Iran is starving. Huh? Why ain't they telling you the truth? Pete Hegseth is asking for $1.5 trillion on Capitol Hill, and I believe he's doing it to starve out the Iranians. Do you guys know Cuba is starving right now? Cuba is starving right now, and Cuba has a 96,000 backlog. Did you guys know Cuba backlog on hospitals? Cuba, since we took Venezuela has had no power for 3 months. Cuba's healthcare system is facing a severe crisis with over 96,000 people, including 11,000 children, on a surgical wait list as of April 2026. Persistent energy shortages, fuel limitation, and staff shortages, with some hospitals operating at 50% capacity, have caused significant backlogs for surgeries, specialized diagnostics, and treatments like radiotherapy and chemotherapy because they can't do dialysis. Didn't I say this about Iran? This is the example I'm using. When I talk about what is going to happen in Iran, you can look at Cuba. You can look at Cuba, and that is what we're looking at in Iran. That is what we're looking at in Iran, and why Iran will come to the table and make a deal, right? That's why it will come to the table and make a deal. This is what's going on in the globe. It's not only going to happen in Iran, it's going to happen in Cuba also. You guys know that? And Cuba will no longer be a communist country, and Iran will no longer be this Muslim Shia jihadist regime. Everybody's like, you're not going to get regime change. You're not going to get regime change. They don't know what they're talking about.
Important that Canadians know. The humanitarian, it's very, very important that Canadians know the humanitarian crisis is already here. It's already happened. Cubans are already dying because, in part, of a broken economic model that doesn't work and hasn't worked for decades in Cuba. But even more than that, if we're serious and in our analysis, long-standing, powerful U.S. sanctions. And the oil blockade just does it in a more brazen way, right?
Oil blockade. Not in Iran. This is Cuba, but we're doing the same thing in Cuba. He said people are dying in Cuba.
So I'll give you one example. Last week, I was in the main pediatric hospital in Havana. There are power cuts in Cuba because, again, the United States has not let in any oil for the last 3 months.
Are you guys listening? Are you guys listening?
And when there's power cuts, the power can go in the hospital. The state tries to prioritize those circuits. They're prioritized. But when the whole grid fails, as it does, because the US is starving the country of oil and of the money they need to repair their obsolete electricity grid, the power sometimes goes out in the hospitals. There are babies on ventilators, and those ventilators are keeping them alive. But because the Cuban economy is very weak, and because the US has been trying to crush it for 62 years and is succeeding in doing it, the batteries on those ventilators haven't worked for years. And so doctors have to run to the ventilators to keep these babies breathing by squeezing rubber pumps. The US blockade in Cuba is killing babies. It has been for the last 7 years. Infant mortality rates have more than doubled in the last decade. That's driven.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying? This is what's going on in Cuba. This is what's on the horizon for Iran. The reason I keep saying Pete Hegseth is asking for $1 trillion. Pete Hegseth is asking for $1 trillion. How long is we going to be in Iran? How long can Iran? How long can Cuba do it? How long can Iran? How long can Cuba?
Yonetki Spolo Garcia is fighting for her life at this hospital in Havana. The mother of 2 young boys has leukemia. Administering what in most places would be routine cancer treatments is almost impossible here. Garcia lives about 20 miles away from the hospital, too far to walk. She tells me without fuel or affordable transportation, life has only gotten harder. We are fighting every day, she says. My biggest fear is going to bed and not waking up next morning. This is a supply room where all of the medicine is stored, but power can go up for up to 8 hours at a time, which is enough to make the refrigerated medication spoil. They've had to come up with other ways to keep it cold.
You try to save it. Of course.
Doctors here say across the country, people are dying because of the fuel crisis. So far, they tell me this hospital has been lucky. Yet
do y'all understand? This is what I'm saying is happening in Iran. Y'all understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying is happening in Iran. Food crisis in Iran. This is what I'm saying is happening in Iran. And I don't think nobody talking about it. I don't see nobody talking about it. I'm the only one talking about it. When I say we're winning the war, this is what I mean by we're winning the war.
A sudden ceasefire announcement is sending shockwaves across the Middle East as Donald Trump steps forward with a bold claim he has brokered a breakthrough between Israel and Lebanon, positioning himself as the decisive force behind a fragile push for peace. In a striking statement on Truth Social, Trump announced a 10-day ceasefire set to begin at 5 p.m. EST, following what he described as excellent conversations with Joseph Aoun and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Let's go back to Pete Hegseth on the Capitol Hill asking for that 1.5 trillion.
As Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth testified for the first time since the war began.
The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans.
Hegseth facing scrutiny from Democrats.
Secretary Hegseth, you have been lying to the American public about this war from day one, and so has the president.
But firing back.
The president has got himself and America stuck in the quagmire of another war in the Middle East.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you.
Shame.
Calling this a quagmire 2 months in.
And one Republican criticizing Hegseth too over his firing of several senior military leaders.
I would just point out, it may be constitutionally right. You have the constitutional right to do these things, but it doesn't make it right or wise.
Hegseth also dodging questions about how much longer the war might last as it enters week 9, well beyond President Trump's initial timeline of 4 to 6 weeks.
Mr. Secretary, how many more months, just order of magnitude, do you think that you're going to need to be able to conclude operations successfully?
As you know, and as the president has stated, you would never tell your adversary.
And now for the first time today, the Pentagon revealing the Iran war's cost on the American taxpayer, $25 billion.
So you're saying the full cost at this point is $25 billion?
Yeah, that's our estimate for the cost.
I'm glad you answered that question because we've been asking for a hell of a long time and no one's given us the number.
And President Trump today telling Axios he rejected a peace plan from Iran, which would have lifted the U.S. naval blockade and reopened the Strait of Hormuz, but delay nuclear talks. Meanwhile, Iran's parliamentary speaker today saying they will unite to defeat the enemy and achieve victory. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Pete gets the money. How long we going to be there? Straight up. Pete gets the money. How long we going to be there? And if we're there an extended period of time, does what's happening in Cuba end up happening in Iran? That's legitimate. Is what's happening in Cuba end up happening in Iran? More Pete Hegseth getting grilled on Capitol Hill. Lawmaker grills Hegseth on Iran's nuclear capability. You're watching the Perfect Timing podcast. Big favor, everybody watching right now. I want to say thank you for watching. Hit the like button. We have a lot to discuss today. We're talking about Trump, no kings. Pete Hegseth asking for $1.5 trillion to extend the Iran conflict. We also got a brand new SCOTUS. Did you know about the Supreme Court has knocked down the Democrats' challenge in Louisiana to change the voting based on race? I said the Supreme Court has voted down. So everything that the Democrats have done in Virginia and California is all for naught. The Republicans will have a majority going into 2026. That's going to be our next lead story. Supreme Court tells Democrats they cannot redistrict based on race. Now, Pete Hegseth, $1.5 trillion to end Iran permanently. Double tap at the like button.
Offer is to say, we'll talk about nukes later. So what is the plan to actually turn all of this lethal kinetic action into an improvement in the nuclear situation? Because we haven't gotten there yet.
Unlike other administrations, which cut bad deals and pallets of cash with no ability to oversee whether Iran is actually pursuing a nuclear program. So if we want to litigate JCPOA or the Iran deal, our view, the president's view, that was a very bad deal.
Okay.
It gave them a bunch of money up front.
What's the future?
To fund, you talked about negotiated deals. Allowed them to fund their proxies and spread Hamas and Hezbollah all around the region. Build up new.
Hey! The JPCOA was a bad deal. You know, I debate Democrats, right? And the Democrats talk about these negotiated deals a lot. And I love what Pete Hegseth did there because a lot of them claim they know about geopolitics. But every time I ask them, name the deal. Just like This guy, Egghead here, Eggo Wafflehead, he said negotiated deals. Pete Hegseth came back and said, you mean the JPCOA? The JPCOA was a bad deal. It allowed Iran to make money because it lifted sanctions. They could make money off the Straits of Hormuz. Think about what we're doing now. We've blocked the Straits of Hormuz. The JPCOA allowed them to make money off of open strait. They made billions of dollars, gave Hezbollah over $700 million annually. They gave the Houthis drones and missiles, and they gave Hamas $300 million annually. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. This is what it looks like when you are prepared for the job. This is not a DEI hire. This is not some purple hair protesting woman we saw yesterday on Capitol Hill who doesn't know about the Supreme Court decisions and the rule of law and asking about questions without knowing the facts. This person, Pete Hegseth, is prepared for the job. He knew what the JPCOA was and did and didn't do. Next time you're in a debate with a Democrat and they talk about this deal and negotiated deal that Joe Biden and Barack Obama failed at holding and keeping, ask them, what's the name of the deal? They won't know JPCOA. They don't know the name of the deal. They just know how to hate. Double tap hit the like button. Pete Hegseth, I love you, baby. Pete Heggie, baby, just kicking ass. And I love you, baby. Back the blue, back our troops, back our president, back Pete Hegseth in the Department of War. Brother, you're doing a great job. I love you. Great fucking
nuclear
job.
capabilities.
What are we going to do now?
President Trump has been clear-eyed from the killing of Qasem Soleimani to the pulling out of the Iran deal to Midnight Hammer and now to this effort to recognize that you have to stare down this kind of enemy who's hell-bent on getting a nuclear weapon and get them to a point where they're at the table giving it up in a way that
so they
never have it.
So they haven't broken yet. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet for all of the.
Well, their nuclear facilities have been obliterated. Underground, they're buried, and we're watching them 24/7. So we know where any nuclear material.
Reclaiming my time for a quick
it.
second here. We had to start this war, you just said, 60 days ago, because the nuclear weapon was an imminent threat. Now you're saying that it was completely obliterated?
They had not given up their nuclear ambitions, and they had a conventional shield of thousands of missiles.
Operation Midnight Hammer accomplished nothing of substance. It left us at exactly the same place we were before. You're missing the point. So much so
their
that
facilities
we had to start
were
a
bombed
war.
and obliterated. Their ambitions continued.
Iran's most recent offer is to say, we'll talk.
Y'all got it? We just watching Pete Hegseth on Capitol Hill. It's only a bill. Pete Hegseth sitting on Capitol Hill asking for 1.5 trillion. We at Capitol Hill. Pete Hegseth. Oh man, I need that lapel. I need that all-American lapel, man. I need that, man. Pete Heggie, baby.
So far, the first is the cost of this war to date. A top Pentagon budget official is also in the room there with Secretary Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane. And he was asked by the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, how much has this cost to date? And he said, so far, since the start of this conflict with Iran, it has cost the American people, the Pentagon, $25 billion. Obviously.
And juxtapose that to Ukraine and the $300 billion. Now, keep in fact, when we just had Davos and we just had Munich, Hillary Clinton was in Munich. I don't know why Hillary Clinton was in Munich. Hillary Clinton is not on the ballot. Hillary Clinton, no one will ever vote for you. We don't want you in office. We don't want Bill Clinton nasty, grimy, grummy, getting fellatio in the White House, cheating on your wife, you dirty motherfucker. We don't want no Clintons. But for some reason, Hillary Clinton was in Munich. And Hillary Clinton was saying we need to give Zelensky and the Ukraine Tomahawk missiles. Do you guys remember that? I'm going to look that up. Hillary Clinton at Munich Tomahawk missile. What the fuck was she doing in Munich? Her time in office is over. Nobody wanted you. Nobody wanted to vote for you. Why was she in Munich? I have no fucking idea. But Hillary Clinton in fucking Munich. Not a leader. Nobody asked her to go to Munich, right? Nobody asked her to go to Munich, but no one voted for her, right? But she's in Munich. She's in fucking Munich. Why she's in Munich, I have no idea. But let's take a look as we talk about the comparisons that people love to make. People keep bringing up this 20 million. I said 300 billion to the Ukraine. 300 billion to the Ukraine. Don't forget the Clinton and the Biden mafia benefited greatly when we were in the Ukraine. Let's listen to Hillary Clinton. Why was she in Munich? How many people know what Munich is? The Munich Security Council, where famously your favorite vice president and tried to be president, Kamala Harris, got us into a war with Russia by saying NATO and saying that Ukraine has a right and a desire to be part of NATO. If you believe this shit. Sometimes the shit don't want to play. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another. Hillary Clinton in Munich Security Council. And this was just a month ago.
This position toward Ukraine is disgraceful. I think the effort to force Ukraine into a surrender deal with Putin is shameful. I think the effort that Putin and Trump are making to profit off the misery and death of the Ukrainian people is a historic error and corrupt to the nth degree. So I believe Ukraine is fighting for our democracy and our values of freedom and civilization. On the front lines, losing thousands of people and having their country destroyed by one man's mania to control them. And I think Trump either doesn't understand or could care less about that suffering. He has betrayed the West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself. I think that.
Did you guys hear this bullshit? Did you guys hear this bullshit? This was 2026, just months ago. Hillary Clinton, not in office, not an influencer, talking shit about America, talking shit about Trump, saying that the Ukraine is part of the West. How many people in the chat agree that the Ukraine is part of the West? The Ukraine is not part of the West. This has been my argument. Anybody listening since the beginning of the podcast, this has been my argument all day. NATO is changing. Even when she says the Ukraine, when she says what she says, do you guys realize that Brexit has occurred? And I talked about a young man who moved to Cyprus who was surprised and had to leave Cyprus because he thought he could benefit from the taxes because Cyprus is in the European Union, but he is a UK non-EU citizen. As you listen to this bullshit from Hillary Clinton, you don't even understand on the ground that this young man couldn't benefit from taxes in Cyprus because he is a UK non-EU citizen. So Hillary, what is the West? If they have Brexit, if they have mass Muslim immigration, if the UK is not part of the EU and not part of the European Union, and Spain doesn't even pay into fucking NATO, what the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck are we protecting? Who the fuck is the West? Who is the Atlantic Alliance? Because it's changed. The Queen is dead. The House, the Parliament no longer allows the Lords. The paradigm this old bitch is talking about is 19th century Cold War rhetoric. That's why I bring up Berlin. That's why I bring up the fucking Berlin Wall and fucking East and West Germany, because this bitch thinks Gorbachev is still in power. Holy fucking shit. And she is the liar behind Comey and the Russia hoax, the Steele dossier, Arctic Frost, tapping Donald Trump's phone, and Donald Trump being investigated by the FBI for the past 10 fucking years. If he had done anything with Stormy, if he had done anything with Jeffrey Epstein, we would fucking know. We would fucking know. Illegal. Illegal. investigations over the past 10 fucking years, tapping his phone, tapping his vice president's phone, but they never found anything. A fake dossier, but they never found anything. And now she says that the Ukraine is part of the West. In Ukraine, where they sold pussy, where the oligarchs sold pussy and cocaine, and Joe Biden and Hunter Biden was fucking bitches and snorting cocaine and doing backdoor deals under the Obama presidency when she was Secretary of State. Joe Biden was vice president. Him and his son was in Ukraine getting pussy, getting money, because that's what the fuck you did in the Ukraine. That's what they did in the Ukraine. The Ukraine was the most corrupt place in East Europe before the invasion. We're getting Epstein money. We're getting Epstein money. We're getting Epstein money. Bitch.
That the Trump administration's position toward Ukraine is disgraceful. I think the effort to force Ukraine into a surrender deal with Putin is shameful. I think the effort that Putin and Trump are making to profit off the misery and death of the Ukrainian people is a historic error and corrupt to the nth degree. So I believe Ukraine is fighting for our democracy and our values of freedom and civilization.
How? People in the chat, W in the chat, everybody knows that Ukraine is where white men went to buy pussy. Ukraine was corrupt, mafias, oligarchs, prostitution, Ukrainian, Russian prostitutes. Everybody fucking knew it. How is that the similar? What the fuck, Cole? They getting Epstein money. She getting Epstein money. We getting Epstein money. Did you guys hear that? The Ukraine, where we all know, anyone with any intellect, anyone over 30 years old, we know, it's just like Bangkok. It's just like Thailand and Bangkok. Who remembers? When I be talking about, I come from another era of the internet, another place on the internet. And when they talk about, does anybody know why white man used to go to, do you guys remember those movies, The Hangover? There were three movies. And what do they do in Bangkok, Thailand? Well, the Ukraine is similar. And we all knew, just like we all know about Bangkok, Thailand. That's why those movies were so successful, because we've heard the stories about these white men going abroad to Bangkok, Thailand and partying, going to Ukraine and partying. It was corrupt. But Hillary says it's the same. Listen.
On the front lines, losing thousands of people and having their country destroyed by one man's mania to control them. And I think Trump either doesn't understand or could care less about that suffering. He has betrayed.
Now let's deal with that. Let's deal with this ideal that Putin is some type of boogeyman. Is Russia a nuclear power? Russia is a nuclear power, correct? Russia is a nuclear power, correct? Let's get the likes up. I need everybody watching. Let's get the likes up. We should have over 300,000 likes right now. Let's get us to 1,000 likes. Is Russia a nuclear power? So if Putin is this evil guy, why hasn't he used the nukes? Why has Putin agreed to trilateral talks with Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff? Why is Putin open to being back in the G8? Why is Putin open to the petrodollar? When this is, and then listen closely, because what she will say, she sounds like a European. She sounds like Macron. She sounds like Starmer. When she says that it is unfair that America, who bared the brunt of the cost and the ammunitions in the Ukraine, she suggests that America should not profit off of the peace agreement. And what I've said always is America should and will profit off of the peace agreement in Ukraine, because we spent $300 billion. Fuck Starmer, fuck Macron, fuck Hillary Clinton. We spent $300 billion. We wasted blood. We wasted missiles. Why the fuck would we not benefit monetarily and recoup? ROI, bitch. ROI. Bitch. Listen, everybody.
The West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human.
That's done. These are Cold War, antiquated, just like OPEC, the NATO Charter, the Universal Doctrine. These are Cold War. They don't have any relevance in Web 3.0, dirty data centers, one blockchain. It does not matter. OPEC fell. The monarchy fell. This shit is done, Hillary. Your old ass needs to, you know, the young people say, have several fucking seats. Your old ass need to go have several fucking seats. The Paris Climate Accord. Fucking Spain doesn't even pay into NATO. Spain is a free rider. We got a super chat. Double tap hit the like button. Thank you for the super chat. Let's read the super chat. We got a super chat. Let's read the super. I promise everybody, the chat be moving so crazy, and people be saying I'll be ignoring. No, I'm doing my show. If you want me to stop presenting my information, if you want me to stop the presentation, put it in the super chat. I will stop the presentation and address the super chat. Anyone who disagrees with me, I know a lot of the people who disagree are broke, but if you disagree with me, there is something called a super chat. And the host who is doing a presentation who I worked very hard on, I worked very hard on the thumbnail, the description, the presentation, my community post, I read effortlessly. So if you want me to stop my presentation, use the super chat like this young man did. It says, exactly, and Schumer was buddy-buddy with Putin and Biden, video everywhere. I was an a veteran, 11B, and U.S. combat vets dislike Hillary from Benghazi. Oh, wow. This brother know his shit. God damn. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Not thank you for the super chat. I thank you for the super chat because I truly appreciate the super chat as a content creator. But bro, as an American, as a father, as a husband, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Thank you for your service. You're a great American. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Straight up. Thank you for your service. Let's get back to Hillary, and you make a good point about Benghazi. I don't really go in on the Clintons, but we could do a whole fucking show on the Clintons. We could do a whole show on the Clintons. So that's a good question, Spider. So what we're going to get ROI from us putting 1.5 children, we blown up Iran. We are already seeing the returns. Pete Hegseth hasn't got the money. I don't think he'll get 1.5 trillion, but we're already seeing returns. We've spent 25 billion so far in Iran. Think about this, Spider. We spent 25 billion in Iran, and America is the #1 supplier of energy in the globe. You know how powerful that makes us? The petrodollar is being discussed again. Spider, if you intelligent, if you an older guy, we could both laugh. You don't have to be Republican. You could be Democrat. But bro, we could laugh. We could fucking laugh. We can fucking have a laugh in a beer together. You a Democrat, me a Republican. We can have a fucking laugh at the fact that the fucking petrodollar is fucking back. The dollar is back, bro. The reason why the UAE left OPEC. Spider, have you been watching? The reason the UAE left OPEC is because they needed dollars. They were dollar poor. They needed a swap line. Trump said, I'll give you a swap line and give you dollars so you can buy U.S. oil with dollars. Everybody coming to buy oil from America has to buy it in dollars. Everybody coming to America to buy oil has to buy it in dollars. Brother, we can sit down and have a beer and laugh like, holy fucking shit, that this really just happened. You can say to me, brother, I don't like Trump, but what the fuck is going on? The fucking petrodollar is back. I didn't see that. No one saw it. And I can sit there and have a beer with you and agree and be honest. Brother, I agree. The dollar was dead. The dollar was dead. And brother, this was 14 months ago. Trump has not been president 2 years. Trump has not been president 3 years. This was just a fucking year ago under Biden. The dollar was fucking dead. The dollar was fucking dead just a year ago. So you could be a Democrat, I could be a Republican, bro. We could have a beer and we could say, what the fuck is going on? The fucking dollar is back. The fucking dollar is back. I just showed a video of Japan of an oil tanker going back to Japan. Somebody so we can have we do real discussions here. We don't do the dumb discussions. So if you're gonna come with something dumb, I'm gonna just do this right here. Watch this. You see that? You're gone. If we got this oil, why is it just $90 to tank my truck? So Spider, I was having a good conversation with you, but we just gonna do that right there. USA, we gonna just do that right there. For anybody who can't have an honest, intelligent conversation, we just do that right there because we talking about real shit. We're talking about the dollar, right? And for everybody keeps saying this stupid shit about my gas prices. I just talked about OPEC. Assassin, do you realize how many Americans don't understand shit? I'm from California, where we don't have any more oil refineries and the highest gas prices, thanks to Democrats. As all you, I was about to say a bad word, but as all of you weak individuals come in my chat being babies. I live in California, and there are no more oil refineries thanks to Democratic leadership. There are no more oil refineries, and we have the highest gas prices because the Democrats steal from the people in the form of gas taxes, just like Zohrani Mamdani in New York, just like a Spamberger in Virginia is raising your taxes. You Democrats are going to get what you wanted. You Democrats are going to get everything you asked for. Zohrani is going to take away all your taxes. Virginia, they're going to take away all your power. She signed legislation to give away your electoral college votes. Spamberger signed legislation to give away your vote. While you sit here and you ask dumb questions, you are losing everything. I told you my next book is going to be While You Were Sleeping. While the Democrats were sleeping, they lost their freedoms. While the Democrats were sleeping, the governor of Virginia charged them taxes to walk a fucking dog. You were asleep. You were drunk off your Trump juice. You were drunk off your Trump juice. So while you were drunk off your Trump juice, they taxed you for dog walking. They took away your electoral college. They took it away. Spamberger said Virginia is going to go with whoever the nation goes with. That's not democracy. In your face, they're taking away democracy. They did it with Kamala. They took away democracy and you champion her. You get in my chat and you argue for her. And they took away democracy. They took away your rights. They took away your vote and you lost because you don't win when you take away democracy. You don't win when you cheat. They keep taking your freedoms. Zohrani Mamdani was in office for 30 days and he shut down New York. One snowstorm. Don't it snow in New York all the time? Anybody listening, doesn't it snow in New York all the time? I thought it snowed in New York all the time. He was in office 30 days. He shut down the city. But maybe you're too young to understand power in the way power works. You may be too young to understand power in the way power works. Why would Mamdani shut down the city only 30 days? Why is Spamberger making these changes? She's only been in office 3 months. You don't understand how power works. You just don't. Why is Hillary Clinton, who's not running for any office, saying such hyperbolic statements in Munich, Germany? This is how many people, when I talk about Munich Security Council, do you know this is in Germany? This is Hillary Clinton in Germany in 2026. Why is Hillary Clinton in Munich, Germany in 2026 talking about American geopolitics? She should be in retirement.
human rights. A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself after. I think that the Trump administration's position toward Ukraine is disgraceful. I think the effort to force Ukraine into a surrender deal with Putin is shameful. I think the effort that Putin and Trump are making to profit off the misery and death of the Ukrainian people is a historic error and corrupt to the nth degree. So I believe Ukraine is fighting for our democracy and our values of freedom and civilization on the front lines, losing.
Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Hillary Clinton. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Hillary Clinton. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Hillary Clinton that the Ukraine is fighting for our principles. The Ukraine, put a 1 in the chat.
Thousands of people and having their country destroyed by one man's mania to control them. And I think Trump either doesn't understand or could care less about that suffering. He has betrayed the West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the.
Trump betrayed the West. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Hillary Clinton. Venezuela, we are getting do you guys know we've made $7 billion? How many people know what's going on in Venezuela? There's so much going on geopolitically in Cuba. I've talked about Cuba, embargoes, blockades, 96,000 in Cuba. We're talking about 1.5 trillion in Iran. Does anybody know what's going on in Venezuela? Well, we're building brand new embassies. Chevron is in Venezuela, Caracas, but we're getting billions of dollars worth of oil out of Venezuela to this day. Right now, $7 billion we've made in Venezuelan crude. It's sitting in the Qatari offshore fund. How many people know about the Qatari offshore fund? Qatar, Q-A-T-A-R, Q-A-T-A-R. Q-A-T-A-R, Qatar, $7 billion so far. Q-A-T-A-R, Qatar, $7 billion so far. Did you know that? Did you know that? Hillary, bitch, did you know that, bitch? 7 billion, bitch. Billion, bitch. And that's just in a couple days. It ain't even been a year. It's just been a couple days. 7 billion, bitch. And that's not with all of Chevron getting all of their infrastructure rebuilt and fixed. Once Chevron and Valero are completely back online, and then what about the UAE? Woo! Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! What about the UAE able to produce 10 million more barrels after they leave OPEC? Hello, I don't hear shit. I don't hear shit. I said the UAE just left OPEC because they needed a swap line, and Donald Trump gave them the money, the dollar. They were dollar poor. They did a swap line, so now the UAE going to produce 10 million more barrels for us in Venezuela. What the fuck is she talking about?
NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does.
We don't! We don't, bitch! We live in America, bitch! We don't, bitch! We don't! God damn, man, I'm so pissed off at you motherfuckers! We don't live under the regime. We don't live in France. We don't live in Europe. We are not adjacent to Russia. Russia does not have any bearing on my life, my children, my economy, nothing. Russia doesn't affect the gas prices, nothing. We don't live under Putin, bitch. But this is the thing you guys need to understand about why King Charles is in America. Does everybody understand why King Charles is in America? Because there are white people who think like this. There are white people that think America in the West is something that is connected to Europe. And I have been saying the romance is over. Tell her, We break up with you. We want to break up. The romance is over. We are no longer in love with the fucking Queen of England. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. The romance is over, Europe, UK non-EU citizen, Brexit, whatever the fuck you are. Whatever the fuck you are, we're no longer in love. You don't love you no more. You just kicked the fucking House of Lords out the parliament. You just arrested the prince. You are tired of them too. Holy shit. You are tired of them too. So why the fuck do you think America is still in love with the monarchy? Why do you think America is still in love with the EU, with the UK, with NATO? We don't give a fuck. Shout out to Eric Jordan. Dems blames Trump for everything. The final boss. Double tap, hit the like button. Shout out to you, Eric. Thank you for the $2 super chat. She says nobody on this panel would want to live under Putin. What the young people in America, Generation Z, Generation A+, what they want the silent generation and baby boomers of the 19th century to hear, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. We don't fear Russia. We don't fear Iran. We don't hate Islam. We don't hate gays. We don't hate communists. We don't hate Russia. Maybe you guys did in the 19th century. Maybe you guys were scared of Russians. We're not afraid of Russians. My wife, who's in her 30s, she doesn't even know about East and West Berlin. Hillary Clinton, this is how out of touch this older generation is. She thinks she can sell us on this being afraid of Putin in Russia. My wife does not fear Putin. I don't know a 30-year-old who even knows truly who Putin is enough to not like him. I'm going to repeat that. I don't know a 30-year-old who even knows enough about Putin to dislike him, bitch. I asked my 30-year-old wife about the Berlin Wall. She didn't know about it. She doesn't know about East and West Germany, Gorbachev. The 30 and the 40-year-olds of America don't fear Putin, don't fear Russia, don't fear communism. She is a fearmonger. This is fear-mongering. America doesn't give a fuck if Russia takes over France. It still won't hurt us. America doesn't give a fuck if Russia takes over Europe. It still doesn't hurt us. We don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if Putin is the king. I don't give a fuck. He can't fucking hurt America. We have nuclear weapons. We are oil and energy rich. We grow our own food. We're not like China. We're not like Russia. We are the only superpower who is completely independent, interdependent, and not depending on anybody. Double tap the like button. So we don't have to fear Putin.
Except that's who Trump is modeling himself after. I think that
we don't have to fear Putin. Do you guys get it? There is no 30-year-old that you can find in a debate who really knows enough about Putin that can intelligently tell you why they hate or fear Putin. That's relevant. That's relevant. If you can't articulate who Putin is, why you fear and hate him, that's relevant, Hillary. That's relevant as fuck. Get the likes up.
You see that goes up by the day, but the cost to date has been $25 billion. And also Adam Smith, the top Democrat on that panel, then turned to Pete Hegseth and asked him some questions about the overall rationale and justification for this conflict with Iran. The administration has said that Iran posed an imminent threat because it had nuclear capabilities. And then Adam Smith pointed out that the U.S. had struck Iran just about a year ago, last June, and hit nuclear facilities in Iran, some of them buried underground. And in the administration's words at the time, obliterated them. And he said, how can you have an imminent threat of a nuclear Iran if you had, as of last summer, in the president's telling, obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities? And he and Hegseth sparred back and forth on that point for a little bit. And ultimately, Hegseth said that it was Iran's nuclear ambitions that still propelled the U.S. to act here and to draw into this conflict with Iran. Here's a little bit more of what Hegseth said in terms of the administration's overall justification. These are from his opening remarks.
President Trump, unlike other presidents, has had the courage to ensure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon, and he's ironclad in that. We have the best negotiator in the world driving that deal. The biggest challenge The biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans.
Striking there to hear him say that what lawmakers say about this war on both sides of the aisle is adversarial and defeatist. Worth pointing out here, as of the end of this week, this conflict with Iran will have gone on for 60 days. And even some Republicans at this hour are saying that there should perhaps be congressional action to authorize it. Congress has never had a vote to authorize this military action in Iran.
Double tap, hit the like button.
Boy, you better give me this guy.
There were two.
Double tap, hit the like button, everybody. Double tap, hit the like button as you come in, man. Get the likes up. We're talking about Pete Hegseth 1.5 trillion on Capitol Hill. Why is this important? It's important because what I reported is Iran is suffering from severe inflation, food shortages, and supply shortages, much like Cuba. So if we get to 1.5 trillion and we remain in Iran for a period of time, let's say 2 to 5 years, what happens to Iran if they can't afford bread and medicine now? What happens to Iran if the Americans decide that they're going to put roots down and keep the blockade? If you follow that thought, what happens to Europe? Because did you guys know that Europe is trading on America? Europe is a real trader. Starmer bought oil from Iran. Starmer did a backdoor deal with Iran to get oil because his people are starving. So Cuba starves, Iran starves, and then Europe and NATO potentially start to starve. Did you guys know that? It's not just Iran who will be in pain because Europe and the EU and Russia is connected. This is one landmass. They get a lot of their oil. So Europe and NATO will begin to starve and hurt. They should have fucking helped us. They should have fucking helped us. But fuck them. Fuck them. Europe and NATO will begin to starve and suffer. Iran will begin to starve and suffer. Not us. Not I, said that guy. Not I, said the guy. Not I. Pete Hegseth on Capitol Hill.
Sparks flying on Capitol Hill as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth testified for the first time since the war began.
The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans.
Hegseth facing scrutiny from Democrats.
Secretary Hegseth, you have been lying to the American public about this war from day one, and so has the president.
But firing back.
The president has got himself and America stuck in the quagmire of another war in the Middle East.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in.
And one Republican criticizing Hegseth, too, over his firing of several senior military leaders.
I would just point out, it may be constitutionally right. You have the constitutional right to do these things, but it doesn't make it right or wise.
Hegseth also dodging questions about how much longer the war might last as it enters week 9, well beyond President Trump's initial timeline of 4 to 6 weeks.
Mr. Secretary, how many more months, just order of magnitude, do you think that you're going to need to be able to conclude operations successfully?
As you know, and as the president has stated, you would never tell your adversary.
And now for the first time today, the Pentagon revealing the Iran war's cost on the American taxpayer, $25 billion.
So you're saying the full cost at this point is $25 billion?
Yeah, that's our estimate for the cost.
I'm glad you answered that question because we've been asking for a hell of a long time and no one's given us the number.
And President Trump today telling Axios he rejected a peace plan from Iran, which would have lifted the U.S. naval blockade and reopened the Strait of Hormuz, but delaying nuclear talks. Meanwhile, Iran's parliamentary speaker today saying they will unite to defeat the enemy and achieve victory. Olivia Rubin, ABC News.
Put a 1 in the chat if you back Pete Hegseth and Trump and the Department of War in their efforts to get $1 trillion to protect America. Put a 1 in the chat if you support Pete Hegseth's request for $1 trillion for the Department of War to protect America. Do you stand with America first? This is America first. Whoa, that MAGA. Put a 1 in the chat if you stand with Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, in the $1.5 trillion request to protect America from tyranny and Iran having a nuclear weapon. This is Ro Khanna going at my brother Pete Hegseth, Department of War, Capitol Hill, 1.5 trillion. 1.5
strike to the Iranian school where kids were killed. Do you have that number in terms of the missiles we used? As I've said, that unfortunate situation remains under investigation. You don't know how much it costs the taxpayer, but I wouldn't tie a cost to that, to anything. It's a reasonable question, no, sir? I mean, our taxpayer money was going there. Do you know how much it will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food over the next year because of the Iran war? I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb. I'm going to give you that opportunity. I would simply ask you what the. You're playing gotcha questions about domestic things. I'm not. You're saying it's a gotcha question to ask what it's going to be in terms of the increased. Why won't you answer what it costs to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb? I give you that, sir. But let me. What would it cost? What would you pay to ensure Iran doesn't get a nuclear bomb? What would you pay? I reclaim my time. Do you not know? You had no one did the analysis of what the increased cost of gas and food on the American people are going to be? What is the cost of Iran holding that straight at issue with nuclear weapons? It's $631 billion, which means it's an increase of $5,000 a year for American households. Now, let me give you this point. You're saying that your operation is preventing a nuclear Iran. Will you acknowledge that there is an economic cost to the American people for doing what you believe is necessary to make Iran denuclear? Will you acknowledge the economic cost? We have an incredible economic team that's managing this better than but what the previous administration did to our economy, what the previous administration did with inflation, you know what's upsetting? The administration did with COVID, and you're going to lecture this administration about the economy? You know what is upsetting? Incredible. You didn't even do the analysis on how much it's costing the American people. It's one thing if you said, okay, it costs the American people $5,000, but we think it's worth it. That's what we've done in World War II and other wars. Here's what it costs. You got to pay for it. You don't even know what the average American is paying. You don't know what we paid in terms of the missiles that hit the Iranian school. You don't know what we're paying in terms of gas. You don't know what we're paying in terms of food. Your 25 billion number is totally off. It's the incompetence. It's the incompetence.
I did give her $700 to have an abortion for.
Do you agree with Ro Khanna? Put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat if you agree with Pete Hegseth. Ro Khanna is saying that it's incompetent, but you know what, he didn't bring up the offset, because we talking about the offset. We will no longer put money into NATO in the Republican budget. We're no longer putting money into the USAID. We're no longer putting money into the UN. We will make money because we are making money off of the Russia-Ukraine peace deal. Hillary Clinton's pissed off about that. We're going to make money the Israel-Gaza peace deal. Everybody's pissed off about that. We are currently making money off the Venezuela invasion. I reported $7 billion. So you said $25 billion in Iran. Ro Khanna, that's what you said, right? It's going to cost them. But there's an offset. Offset. You know, like Cardi B's husband, they still married, by the way. They still married. So $7 billion, but we only been in Venezuela for 5 minutes. We're not fully back operational. Chevron and Valero is getting back their sites back fully online in Venezuela. But even now, with Venezuela not being fully online, we've only been getting oil and gas out of Venezuela for a couple days. People in my chat don't even know, half of the people in my chat don't even know that we're already profiting from Venezuela to the tune of $7 billion. So what the Democrats want to tell you is there is no ROI, there is no offset. So with the Iran, we are already profiting in Venezuela, and the UAE just left OPEC. What does that mean? Why is this important? Because now the UAE no longer has constraints on how much oil it can produce. They can produce up to 10 more barrels per year, which will in turn drive down prices. And remember how much you pay for eggs under Biden. Remember shrinkflation. Got another super chat from my brother Assassin. Let's read that and highlight that right now. What he said was, double tap at the like button. The problem with society today is that everyone is impatient and wants instant gratification. So the microwave generation, when economic policies are passed, and sometimes in years, white people make plans, man, they make plans for the city. They make 100-year plans, bro. They make 100-year plans. And this is the one thing that nobody foresee. Even people in my chat didn't foresee the fact that the dollar would be on the rebound. Look at your bank account. Got a phone call coming in. Hello? Hello? What's up, nigga? What's up? Who's it? What's up, bro? I'm gonna call. I'm good, man. I'm on my little YouTube shit right now. I'm gonna call you right back when I get off. You on YouTube? Everybody can hear you right now. Nah, nigga, perfect timing pocket. Now you just said my government name, bro. Don't talk to the feds, man. Don't. Look at, hey, I'm live right now. You can go on YouTube right now. Put in your YouTube. Listen. Perfect. Yeah, y'all go watch me right now. I'm live right now. Tap in. Hold on. It's called Perfect Timing Podcast, man.
Podcast, right?
Perfect Timing Podcast.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out right now, nigga.
You on there right now. If you go on there right now, you can hear your voice, man. You're famous right now. You can rewind. You can hear yourself. Shout out somebody. You can shout out somebody right now. We on there live. It's thousands of people watching me around the world. Famous on TV right now. Hey, I love you, cousin. Both of y'all, bring it up, man. Perfect timing. Both of y'all, bring that shit up right now on his phone. Perfect Timing Podcast. You can see your cousin, man. You ain't even see me. You ain't even see me in a minute, man.
I know I ain't seen you in years, nigga.
Yeah, tap in, man.
Hold on, what's the name of your YouTube? Because I couldn't hear you. This nigga was playing. What's the name of your YouTube page, nigga?
Listen, Perfect Timing Podcast.
Oh, I got that. That's easy. Okay.
Perfect Timing Podcast. Yeah, it's easy.
Shit, I've been with this nigga Boo every day, nigga. After work for like 10 years, nigga.
He told me. He told me.
He still ain't got his own place.
He told me. Hey, but look though, I'm gonna hang up, man. People.
Yeah, call me back. I'm gonna go to your podcast right now, nigga.
All right, bet. What? That's my little cousin, man. That's my little cousin right there. That's my little cousin. He like my nephew, man. That's my little cousin, man. Tapping in, man, on the Perfect Timing Podcast, man. Thank you, little cousin, man. And again, thank you to Assassin for the $5 super chat. And I agree with the microwave generation comment. We were just highlighting the comment from Assassin and talking about the microwave generation. And we were watching Rokan grill Pete Hegseth on the cost of the war. And I was addressing the offset cost. Let's listen to Rokan. Y'all want to listen to Rogan on my nerves, man. Rogan, I don't even like Ro. He grandstanding and showing out, man. I don't dig that, man. He grandstanding and showing out, man. Let's let Ro chill, man. Let's let Ro chill, man. He grandstanding and showing out, but what I have other things. We have the SCOTUS. We have the SCOTUS, but I want to get another one. Hegseth, Biden, admin, hollow out our military. Let's get that one. And we're going to get that one. Then we're going to get to the SCOTUS. Let's get to the SCOTUS. We're going to get the last Pete Hegseth, and then we're going to get the SCOTUS knocking down the Democrats for being racist. The Democratic Party is the Dixiecrats, is the party of the KKK. So how many people heard about the Southern Law Poverty Center? Like, I wasn't surprised when I heard about the Southern Law Poverty Center because I know about the Democrats and I know what the Democrats do, right? How many people know the Democrats are the party? Biden is a Democrat. Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That's Joe Biden. These are the Democrats. So Southern Law Poverty Center is paying KKK white supremacists to be racist and do violent acts so they can get more money and in turn give more money to racists so they could be more racist and be more violent. Do you see this system? This is how, when we talk about systemic racism, this is the circular thing that we talk about. Southern Poverty Law Center gives money to racists to be racist and do violence so they can get more money and bigger budget in their coffers. That will allow them to give the racists more money, which in turn empowers the racists to cause more damage. It's actually sick and perverted when you think about it, but no Democrat comes in my confidence. Nobody comes in my chat and talks about the Southern Law Poverty Center and how the Democrats spark and carry on racism. Not Republicans, how Democrats spark violence. There's no discussion about the Southern Law Poverty Center and how Democratic white liberals fuel racism in America for their own political gain. I said how Democratic white liberals fuel racism for their own political gain.
In a diminished ability to project strength. Under the previous administration, we were focused on offshoring and outsourcing, riddled with cost overruns and degraded capabilities. Under the leadership of President Trump, our builder-in-chief, we are reversing this systemic decay and putting our defense industrial base back on a wartime footing. If you ask anyone at our Pentagon, urgency informs everything we do. We're rebuilding a military that the American people can be proud of, one that instills nothing less than unrelenting fear in our adversaries and the utmost confidence in our allies. We fight to win in every scenario. A nation's ability to build, innovate, and support the critical needs of its warfighters at speed and at scale is the foundation upon which its survival rests. However, upon taking office on January 20th, 2025, President Trump inherited a defense industrial base that had been hollowed out by years of America last policies, resulting in a diminished ability to project strength. Under the previous administration, we were focused on offshoring and outsourcing, riddled with cost overruns and degraded capabilities. Under the leadership of President Trump, our builder-in-chief, we are reversing this systemic decay and putting our defense industrial base back on a wartime footing. If you ask anyone at our Pentagon, urgency informs everything we do. We're rebuilding a military that the American people can be proud of, one that instills nothing less than unrelenting fear in our adversaries and the utmost confidence in our allies. We fight to win in every scenario.
Double tap hit the like button. I love Pete Hegseth, baby. That's my brother from another mother, Pete Heggie, baby. Let's go to SCOTUS. Let's go to SCOTUS. Let's get into this, man. Let's get into the Democrats looking bad in 2026. Let's get into the Democrats looking bad in 2026. Let's get into it. Y'all see Trump with the gun in his hand talking about no more Mr. Nice Guy. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. We got Comey, and we got Comey, and we got the SCOTUS. I want to go to SCOTUS. And then we're gonna go to Comey. I want to go to SCOTUS, and then we're gonna go to Comey, because it's important as we talk about Jasmine Crockett. I coined a new term. It's called crocodile tears. Everybody heard of crocodile tears? It's called Jasmine Crocodile tears. And she was crying when she got fired, but we knew she was going to get fired because Trump fired her just like he fires people for 10 years. Let's get into the Supreme Court ruling and how it's going to affect the 2026 election and the 2028 and every year politics going forward. We got Tulsi Gabbard in Fulton County. Counting up 600,000 stolen votes. So now let's get into this. Let's get into the Supreme Court's ruling on what 2026 is going to look like. Because I told you there's going to be a red wave. Breaking news. Double tap hit the like button. Breaking news. The Supreme Court has ruled that drawing congressional districts based on race under the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional 6-3. This huge win could have massive ramifications for the 2026 midterms. Y'all thought I was just making it up. Y'all thought it was just me. I'm not saying this. This is what it is. Democrats for years have sued over and over again to force states like Louisiana to create black majority districts. Louisiana map has now been thrown out. If SCOTUS ends up gutting the act, a dozen Democratic districts could flip red overnight. Overnight. This is the reality on the ground in America. You won't get this on the legacy media because CNN wants you to believe that the Democrats have a hope. Look at the map. The map. It's a red map. Now remember, the House is Republican. The Senate is Republican. Donald Trump is Republican, and he won 80% of the vote. I am not surprised. America has told the world and everybody that we are more conservative and more Republican. You can look at the House. You can look at the Senate. You can look at how many votes Donald Trump got in both elections. So this is not surprising. What the Democrats do by cheating, by going to the Supreme Court saying, oh, we need this for black people. Oh, we need this for women. Why not just look at how many people vote Republican, regardless of race?
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These two districts that were minority majority, essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had two of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson. But here's what the majority says. They say in some, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. That was those two new districts. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Now, this opinion is almost 100 pages long, so we're going through to see if it says something more broadly about the Voting Rights Act. That had been the fear on the left, that somehow this decision, if it was favorable for those challenging these maps, that it would somehow do a big chunk out of the Voting Rights Act. Haven't gotten to language that suggests that yet. It sounds like this decision is primarily about what happened in Louisiana. So we'll keep digging through this. But for right now, it's a win for those who were challenging these two minority majority districts. Now, as we read through this and figure out the broader implications, there were 20 plus districts across the country that would have potentially lined up with this decision. They could be open to challenges that they were drawn on the basis of race, or that it was the primary factor that was used in drawing those districts.
So let's talk about the congressional math. I know a lot of you don't understand, but I like to talk about some real shit on my channel. And on my channel, a lot of the people who have subscribed, everybody watching right now, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm running the Somalian special right now. I call it the Somalian special. The Somalians, $19 billion in alleged fraud. We got fraud in California, over 100. So you can join my channel for $5 a month. That's less than 25 cents a day. It's less than it costs to feed a starving Somalian. It's called the Somalian special. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. When you subscribe, you're gonna get a plus sign, and you can join the channel and support me or support Somalians, $19 billion. Anybody know who Al-Shabaab is? Al-Shabaab is an Islamic terrorist organization who benefited from the $19 billion allegedly. We getting Epstein money. Al-Shabaab, we getting Epstein money. Al-Shabaab, we getting Epstein money. Double tap, hit the like button, man. Double tap, hit the like button, man. Double tap, hit the like button. So let's talk about congressional math. This is the type of shit I like to talk about. What is the current congressional map? I think it's 219 to 213, correct? MAGA here, Trump news, giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. And that's what I'm about to do, giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. She said 20 seats. Didn't she say 20 seats? So what's the current congressional math, and how do Democrats flip the House? See, these are the things that a lot of people come and they troll and they get upset, but the terminology is what dictates an intelligent conversation and whether or not I'm dealing with a person with true intellect. How will the Democrats flip the House? What is the current congressional math? Do you know what it means to flip the House? Do you know what the current congressional math is? Do you know Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader of the Democratic Party? It's 219, 213 majority Democrat. 219, 213 majority Democrat. If they lose 20 seats, how do they flip the House? I argue going back to January when I first said 2026, we got the sticks, Republicans in the mix, that we are going to have a red wave. When I talked about it, I said congressional math right now, we have the House, it's 2019 to 2013, 219 Republicans, 213. Where do the Democrats pick up the necessary seats? They would need a certain amount of seats to tie and a certain amount of seats to flip the House. So they need about 10 seats, right? They need several seats to flip, and they need to gain some seats. So how do the Democrats flip the House if, number one, listen to me, this is not the BS hour. This is real politics. They lost Jasmine Crockett. So people keep saying Virginia, when I'm reporting to you about this map in the Supreme Court decision, what they did in Virginia won't help. They lost Jack because think about it. When they did the 5 seats redistricting in Texas, and then they did the 5 seats in California, the congressional map didn't change. Are you guys with me? You're back at the same numbers. 219, 213, the congressional map didn't change. 5 seats, 5 seats. So if there's 20 seats in play and the Democrats are already 7 seats behind, where do they pick up? And then this is the thing also, who are these champions of the Democratic Party? Because we would know about them. Who are these people who can win in Republican areas? Are you guys following me? Who are these powerful, great Democrats who can flip a Republican district? And why don't we know about them? Because if they were, if you had 10 popular Democrats with the ability to flip 10 Republican districts, CNN would be talking about it every day. Hey, we got this great new Democrat in Virginia. Hey, we got this great new Democrat, and they're going to flip this Republican. Jasmine Crockett couldn't do it. So if you lose Jasmine Crockett, if Nancy Pelosi is stepping down, if you have people like Ayanna Pressley, who's under investigation for potentially $1 million fraud, Adam Schiff for fraud, Ilhan Omar, how many people think Ilhan Omar gets reelected with her $30 million fraudulent ass? So think about, this is the reality 2026. If Ilhan Omar can't get reelected, if Jasmine Crockett gets fired, if Ayanna Pressley is prosecuted for $1 million theft, you had a Democrat in Florida, a woman who stole $5 million and then bought $1 million ring, and the bitch put the $1 million ring on her campaign poster. I said the bitch stole $5 million. I said there was a Democratic bitch in Florida, stole $5 million, and then the bitch bought $1 million ring and took a picture. Only a black bitch would do this shit. Then took a picture on her campaign poster with the $1 million ring with a big ass smile. Bitch, you stole $5 million and spent $1 million on a motherfucking ring, and then you're gonna show off the stolen goods. It's just like when kids get a gun and put it on Instagram. So if you have Democrats doing shit like that, if you have Democrats stealing millions, stealing $5 million, she stepped down because she go out and get prosecuted. That's a seat you lose. You lose Jasmine Crockett. Ilhan Omar, I predict you lose that. Nancy Pelosi's not running. I believe that the squad. So how do the Democrats flip the House? And then add everything I've just educated you on. Add all of that to what the Supreme Court did today. Add all of that to what the Supreme Court did today, right? Add all of that to what the Supreme Court did today, and then tell me how do you flip the House? CBS just admitted that the Supreme Court ruling against racial gerrymandering, congressional seats will go well beyond Louisiana. Nearly a dozen seats in the South are up for grabs. Again, a red wave. Nearly a dozen seats in the South are up for grabs. VRA districts effectively done. The ruling is a win, I think we can say, for Republicans. Hello? The ruling is a win for Republicans. All we do is win, win, win. And if you came for MAGA, put your hands in the air, let them stay there. All we do is win, win, win. And if you came from America, put your hands in the air. Let them stay there. All we do is win Wednesday. All we do is win Wednesday. $1.5 trillion. All we do is win Wednesday. Supreme Court 6-3 has just stuck down racial gerrymandering. Supreme Court has just struck down racial gerrymandering. 20 seats are up for grab. Red wave is on the way.
Supreme Court just issued a ruling on a potentially groundbreaking redistricting case that could impact, for many years to come, the power of minority voters in this country. It focuses on the constitutionality of Louisiana's congressional map and how it was redrawn. The justices determined if Louisiana lawmakers properly balance constitutional and Voting Rights Act protections. I want to get straight to CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford, who has been reading through the opinion. Jan?
Well, Major, we just got this ruling within the last couple minutes. The justices in a 6-3 vote, a decision written by Justice Samuel Alito for the other 5 conservatives, are striking down a second majority black district in Louisiana, ruling that state officials focused on race, and that amounted to an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. Now, this decision is a major one under the Voting Rights Act. It will go well beyond Louisiana. It's going to make it, based on what we're seeing so far, it will make it harder for state officials to draw up these so-called majority-minority districts, which have been used for decades and have increased black representation and minority representation in Congress. And it also, I think, will call into question about a dozen or so existing majority-minority districts, mostly in the South. Now, those districts, as you know, Major, have been a way for Democrats to pick up seats in some of those states, those red states in the South. So this ruling is a win, I think we can say, for Republicans. But legally, this is a Supreme Court that going back 20 years or more has been saying in case after case, a consistent line of cases, that the Constitution is colorblind. And that's why we've seen the Supreme Court do things like throw out affirmative action in college admissions. This line of cases very consistent with the court's ruling today. What about the midterms? I think this ruling coming today, 6 months after it was argued back in October, may come too late to have an impact on these upcoming midterm elections. I think the focus will be going forward, limiting states from considering race when they're trying to consciously and intentionally draw up districts to increase minority representation. That means, Major, that you might not have as many of those kind of ink-blocked states or states that have districts that zigzag like a Z, where they go from, like this one did, from Shreveport all the way down 250 miles to Baton Rouge, scooping up black voters along the way to, again, pick up voters to get enough black voters there to have that majority. So I think, that will restrict some of those those districts for sure. Looking at this decision, it's 37 pages long. There is a dissent by liberal Justice Elena Kagan that appears to be longer than the majority, and it looks like a barn burner. She is saying that today's ruling will is gutting the Voting Rights Act and will call into peril some of the accomplishments that we've seen over that historic 1965 law that really dismantled Jim Crow and systemic barriers to voting for Black people in the South. Of course, the Supreme Court today, as they have in recent decisions on voting rights, is saying the country has moved past that. It's time to stop intentionally focusing on race. And as Chief Justice John Roberts said in a case back in 2007, the way to end discrimination, race discrimination based on race, is to stop discriminating based on race. And this Supreme Court, with those 6 conservative justices, believes that racial preferences, whether it's in affirmative action, whether it's in redistricting, that can amount to unconstitutional race discrimination, Major.
It's 2026. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with the Supreme Court ruling. It's 2026, y'all. It's 2026. This shit was in the 1950s.
Supreme Court just issued a ruling on.
It's 2026, man. Let's get into it, man. Supreme Court 6-3 decision. Let's get into
ruled 6-3 against Louisiana.
Let's get into it. This person may not agree. The liberals are going to riot. Double tap hit the like button. We talking about the Supreme Court decision.
Guys, huge news. just breaking now. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 against Louisiana's unconstitutional gerrymandering map. What this means is all of the country that had to gerrymander based on a small minority demographic no longer plays, which means that the maps across the entire country for every state will be fair. It will be the people's voice and what they want, right? Where before, just to give you an example, let's say within Louisiana, 99.9% of Louisiana was red. Well, if there was a small pocket of blue somewhere, right, you had to give that 1 seat representation, although it was 0.1%, right? And I'll spread that across the country, and Democrats were gaining seats that they shouldn't have. This essentially gives the Republican Party close to 20 to 25 extra seats now that the states can actually redistrict fairly and actually put those forced Democrat small little minorities into the red area where it should have been.
So what happens in 2026? What happens in 2026 if these 20 seats, and they're saying, so they're going to try to hold it up. They're going to try to hold it up. They don't want to do it for 2026. They're going to try to hold it up. So they don't want to do it for 2026. They're going to try to do it for, I don't know, 2028. But many in my chat have speculated that it's going to be very difficult for a Democrat to win. Going forward, it's going to be extremely difficult for a Democrat to win. Now, keep in mind the SAVE Act. Couple this with the SAVE Act. How many people paying attention to really pay attention what's going on? You have to couple this information with the SAVE Act. Everybody watching right now, do me a big favor, hit the like button. Everybody watching right now, do me a big favor, hit the like button. Everybody seems to agree with SCOTUS. Let me know, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with the Supreme Court decision to no longer gerrymander districts based on race. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with the Supreme Court's decision to no longer gerrymander districts based on race, okay? And as you do that, hit the like button. Huge favor. Everybody double tap the screen. If you don't know how to hit the like button, double tap the cell phone. While you're hitting the like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe. A lot of people watching on the cell phone, do you see the top, those 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner? Anybody watching me on the cell phone, you see those 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner? That's called an ellipsis. If you hit that ellipsis, you will get some options. It'll let you like the video or dislike the video, right? That's how you like the video, or you can double tap. If you hit my picture, you can subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Everybody right now is free. Trust me, hit the subscribe button. That way you know my channel, how to find me. It may be difficult to find me. Hit the subscribe button. You'll be able to get to my community page. You enjoy my community. You enjoy my other forms of content, short and long form. Double tap, hit the like button. Let's get more details. Supreme Court votes that you can no longer gerrymander districts on race. So Jasmine Crockett was going to be fired anyway. Can we just be honest? Jasmine Crockett was going to be fired anyway. Crockett dialed tears. Jasmine Crockett, you was gone. Jasmine Crockett, nothing was going to save you.
They think 19 seats could be at risk all throughout the South. The question will be the timing. Is this a 2028 play? Is this a 2026 play? There are some primaries here coming up, not until later in the cycle. August 6th, there's one in Tennessee. That's Steve Cohen's seat. That's a majority minority district. That's an August 6th. It won the one Democratic seat there. The Jim Clyburn seat in South Carolina, that is the Democratic seat in South Carolina. That's a June 9th primary. Jamie, this shows you the ramifications long-term for this ruling.
Absolutely. Just think about that number. 19 seats in play. And let's look at this politically. Laura, you talked about confusion going into this race. We're worried about voter suppression. Apart from the long-term impact, we are going to see people take advantage of that confusion. There is going to be, these midterms are so high stakes that anybody who thinks they can take advantage on the state level of this decision, there is going to be a scramble to see if they can, because each side thinks this is an existential midterm with the House especially.
Yeah. No.
I agree. Put one in the chat if you agree. And I agree that the Democrats is doing everything. I told you, I played the clip from Hakeem Jeffries yesterday. The Democrats look at this as war. Hakeem Jeffries said all war all the time. Okay, check this out. Except for the Republicans were the majority vote on the Civil Rights Act. Did you guys know? The Republicans was the majority vote on the Civil Rights Act. And to any Democrat who says the party has changed in 60 years, BS. I'll let Malcolm X prove it. Did you guys know the Democrats voted against the civil rights? Kind of reminds you of Joe Biden, who was against school busing. And when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Listen to Malcolm X talk about the real Democratic Party. Blexit, everybody. Blexit. Get your black ass off the Democratic plantation.
The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and got it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you. Because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because...
Did you hear Malcolm X? I mean, a lot of people come in the chat and they call me some type of sellout because I'm a Republican. Can we just listen to some real intellect? And that's why I love Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the one with Candace Owens who created Blexit. It's based on these principles. If you know about Charlie Kirk, if you know about Candace Owens, if you know about Blexit, Blexit is based on these principles.
The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and got it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you. Because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and got it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you. Because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Amen.
The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro.
Amen. 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 We talking about the Supreme Court, and we talking about SCOTUS ruling that you can no longer gerrymander on the basis of race. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Donald Trump says no more Mr. Nice Guy when it comes to dealing with Iran. Put a one in the chat if you support Trump news, Trump news, Trump news, giving Democrats the boo blues, giving Democrats the boo. Thumbs up, ones in the chat for my president, Donald J. Trump. No more Mr. Nice Guy. We getting Epstein money. We getting Epstein money. Al-Shabaab, we getting Epstein money. Al-Shabaab, we getting Epstein money. Al-Shabaab, we getting Epstein money. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Trump, the best president of your lifetime. Trump, the best second-term president that you've ever seen. So supremely happy and proud of the president, Donald J. Trump. James Comey is being indicted.
Former FBI director and outspoken critic of President Trump, a warrant has now been issued for his arrest. And late tonight, Mr. Comey responded to the charges.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago.
We sell seashells by the end of the seashore. Double tap, hit the like button. James Comey being indicted. Double tap, hit the like button. Double tap, hit the like button. Comey is indicted. James Comey is indicted, and we all invited. I'm so excited. Comey is indicted, and I'm just so happy I can't even hide it. I'm so excited. Comey is indicted, and I'm just so happy I can't even hide it. Woo, 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 woo. I'm so excited. Comey is indicted, and I'm just so happy I can't even hide it. Did y'all see my thumbnail, man? Got fired thumbnail, man. Got fired thumbnail, man. Got James Comey with the seashells, man. Yeah, man. It was somebody in the chat, man, talking about the sea. What did James Comey put in the sand? Y'all can put it in the chat, man. I don't understand this FBI director. I don't understand, man, this type of lack of leadership. And so when we say Comey should have been indicted for his actions in the collusion, Hunter Biden laptop. Can y'all want to talk about it? Can we have a talk about it? Hunter Biden laptop, Steele dossier, Clinton server, Can I get Clinton server in the chat, please? Can I get Clinton server? See, MAGA, this is so exciting for MAGA. Can I get Clinton server in the chat? Clinton, I played a video of Hillary Clinton acting like she is holier than thou, and she forgets about Libya. She forgot about Benghazi. She forgot about the motherfucking server. Hillary Clinton server, James Comey. Can anybody talk about it? Let's talk about Hillary Clinton server, Steele dossier, Arctic Frost, Russia hoax, and he gonna come on the TV and whine and bitch and moan and whine. No, fuck you, Comey. You should be in prison. And nobody who is director of the FBI should make jokes when we have a president who's been through 3 assassination attempts. He was actually shot in the ear. Let's have a real talk. Can we have a real talk? My president has been through 3 assassinations attempts. He was actually shot. Like Ronald Reagan was shot, Donald Trump was shot in the ear. Fight, fight, fight. Can I get fight, fight, fight in the chat? So James Comey makes a joke about the unaliving of my president, the leader of the free world, the United States. God bless him. Can I get God bless President Trump? God bless him. And you make a joke about the leader of the free world, the president, who has brought the American petrodollar back, who has brought the American economy back. We didn't get into shrinkflation today. Obama, quantitative easing. I'm going to say it again. Quantitative easing. There's so much that I know that we don't discuss that I just keep in my back billfold if anybody wants to debate how they ruined the fucking country. But let's get into it.
In the second indictment of James Comey, the former FBI director and outspoken critic of President Trump, a warrant has now been issued for his arrest. And late tonight, Mr. Comey responded to the charges.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary, so let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be.
So death threats to the president is who we are. You fucking Democrat liberals get on my fucking nerves. You being held accountable, that's not America. Death threats to the president is American. What the fuck, man? What is he talking about, bro? What the fuck, bro?
And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values. Keep the faith.
As the former director of the FBI alluded to, the three-page indictment centers around this now deleted Instagram post from him. On May 15th of last year, Comey took a photo of seashells he says he found on the beach that spelled out 8647, 47 referring to Donald Trump as the 47th president, 86 defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary in multiple ways to, quote, eject, dismiss, or remove someone, to refuse to serve a customer, to eject or ban a customer, to reject, discontinue, or get rid of something. The Department of Justice and their indictment.
So is Anderson Cooper trying to redefine what 86 means? Anderson Cooper, I think Anderson Cooper just called us all stupid. Anderson Cooper just tried to redefine what 8647 means. Anderson Cooper said 86 doesn't mean what it means. And if you think it means that, then you must be dumb. I can't believe the Democrats. Is that the way you're going to defend this? Anderson Cooper basically just said, if you think 86 means what you think it means, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Inconceivable.
Centers around this now deleted Instagram post from him. On May 15th of last year, Comey took a photo of seashells he says he found on the beach that spelled out 8647, 47 referring to Donald Trump as the 47th president, 86 defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary in multiple ways to, quote, eject, dismiss, or remove someone, to refuse to serve a customer, to eject or ban a customer, to reject, discontinue, or get rid of something. The Department of Justice and their indictment alleges 86 was a threat to kill or harm the president.
The first count is on or about.
So before we
May
go
15th.
any further, I need to know from you in the chat. Does 86 mean, is 86, do you agree with the DOJ or do you agree with Anderson Cooper? 86 is something that's a joke. 86 doesn't mean to unalive.
15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
Yeah, so that's a good point that Anderson Cooper leaves out. So Anderson Cooper talks about the Merriam-Webster definition, but there's a piece, and I'm so happy that the DOJ iterated that. What he iterated is that James Comey, former head of the FBI, not only thought this was cute, but he posted it on social media. So that's another piece to this. Anderson Cooper, whether or not you agree that 86 means unalive, the other fact is he posted it to social media. This is what it looks like when you don't do a DEI hire. When you hire people who know the job, who are well-trained and know how to do the job. See, Anderson Cooper, you can't dispute that. And that's because the head of the DOJ knows what he's doing. So Anderson, it's not just Merriam-Webster's definition. It's the fact that he put it on social media. And once it's on social media, it's not up to you. You're not the judge. You're not the jury. You can't tell us Merriam-Webster's definition. When you put something like this on social media, it's up for interpretation, yes? Children are on social media. Children are on Instagram. You see it in the background, you guys. It's an Instagram post. That's very irresponsible for the former FBI director. Would you agree? So you didn't deal with the social media part and the criminal charges based around the fact that not only was this a threat, but then he put it on fucking social media as the fucking FBI director, which was fucking stupid. Let's listen to Anderson again.
The FBI alluded to the 3-page indictment centers around this now deleted Instagram post from him. On May 15th of last year, Comey took a photo of seashells he says he found on the beach that spelled out 8647. 47 referring to Donald Trump as the 47th president. 86 defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary in multiple ways to, quote, eject, dismiss, or remove someone, to refuse to serve a customer, to eject or ban a customer, to reject, discontinue, or get rid of something. The Department of Justice in their indictment alleges 86 was a threat to kill or harm the president.
The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
Back when Mr. Comey first posted this, then DHS Secretary Kristi Noem posted on social media, quote, disgraced former FBI Director James Comey just called for the assassination of @POTUS Trump. DHS and Secret Service is investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. Noem, of course, has since been fired. Comey, who had already deleted the initial post, then posted this minutes after then Secretary Noem. Quote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. The next day, Mr. Comey voluntarily participated.
What? What did he say? To be white. I mean, to be white, this is the greatest example of whiteness. This is why I pointed to Malcolm X and the Democratic Party and the racism and the elitism, the cronyism. Are these white men trying to say, no, one, you're an idiot because you didn't read Webster's dictionary. And then the other white man is saying that he was oblivious that some people thought 86 had something. Oh my God. This is just. Let's read it. Let's read it. He said, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today. So he's trying to say I did not arrange the shells. The shells magically appeared like Lucky Charms in the form of 8647. First of all, guys, he is James Comey, former head of the FBI, is saying to the American people and everybody listening at the Perfect Timing Podcast, I was walking down the beach and I just saw some seashells. They just so happened to be arranged in this way. I took a picture. I thought it was cute. I did not know these numbers represented what they represented. A grown-ass man, former head of the FBI, did not know Trump was 47, did not know what 86 means. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe James Comey. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe James Comey did not know 86 meant what 86 meant, and he did not know 47. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe James Comey found the shells. Wait, this is 258. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe James Comey just happened to come across seashells on the seashell, on the seashore, arranged in 8647, magically, like Lucky Charms. And he said, I'm going to just take a picture. So you telling me you walking down the beach, you got your cell phone, and you decide, like normally people on the beach are enjoying the sand. They don't have their cell phones. I'm in the water with my kids. My dog is swimming. My dog loves the beach. Anybody got a dog? I got a shepherd mixed with a lab, and she loves the beach. We take her to the beach. She's in the water. The kid's in the water. I'm smoking a joint. I'm kicking back. I'm not on the cell phone. But James Comey walking on the beach, he happens to have a cell phone. He's not enjoying the sand in the water, not like any other normal person. He has a phone, right? And then he magically finds these shells arranged like this on their own. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. So he takes a picture, and then he wants to absolve himself because he says he didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, James Comey is saying he didn't know that somebody would interpret this in such a way. How many people believe that James Comey did not know 86 meant what it meant, and James Comey did not know what 47 meant, and that James Comey found these shells magically arranged like this on their own? Put a one in the chat if you believe in magic.
Appropriately.
Do you believe in magic? Put a one in the chat if you believe in magic.
Noam, of course, has since been fired. Comey, who had already deleted the initial post, then posted this minutes after then Secretary Noam. Quote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down.
What?
I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. The next day, Mr. Comey voluntarily participated in an interview with Secret Service agents at their Washington.
So it's okay though. So it's okay though. If so, how about you try it? I mean, somebody who's not white, someone who's not white and rich. How about you try it? How do you think the police would treat you if you posted something that's a threat to our president on your social, and then you're so stupid? If you're so stupid to put it on your social media, and then you're so stupid that you think you're so smart, you're such a fucking smart ass that you post this stupid shit, and your smart aleck response to police and FBI is going to be, well, I didn't know. They're going to kick your ass because you're not James Comey. Let's say you post this stupid shit, and your smart aleck ass says to the FBI, I didn't know, you can't prove it. They're kicking your fucking ass for being an idiot. And then you post it on social media. I didn't know. You can't prove it. You can't make me nanny nanny boo boo. They're kicking your fucking ass. Nanny nanny boo boo. Nanny nanny boo boo. Nanny nanny boo boo. You can't catch me. Nanny nanny. We're adults. This is the president. We are adults. This is the president. And you posted that shit on your social media. Then you want me to be nice to you. You want me, the FBI and the police. I'm at your house. I'm knocking on your door. Yeah, I posted it, but I didn't know it was a problem. Get your ass in the goddamn car. We're going to let a judge figure this shit out. Judge, do you believe that a grown 45, 55-year-old man who used to be the former FBI did not know possibly how this could affect social media, did not know what 86? Let's let a judge figure it out. Let's let a judge figure it out if you believe a grown-ass 55-year-old man who happened to have his camera on the beach did not arrange these seashells and was completely oblivious. You're the head of the FBI. You want a judge to believe you completely oblivious to any of the facts. That's not how the FBI works. That's not how the FBI works. You're an FBI, you're a cop, and you want a judge to believe you're completely oblivious, therefore absolved. Therefore absolved. I am oblivious. I am deaf, dumb, and blind, like P.O.P. I'm legally blind. So James Comey is telling us, I'm legally blind. P.O.P. hold it down. Let me look it up. P.O.P. hold it down. I'm legally blind. Right? That's what James Comey wanted to believe, right? I'm legally blind. P.O.P. hold it down. That's what James Comey is saying. P.O.P. hold it down. I'm legally blind. That's what James Comey want us to believe, right? He don't know nothing. James
I'm an innocent bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my
James Comey want us to believe. James Comey want us to believe that he is legally blind. James Comey said, I didn't know. Ah, shit. You are the head of the FBI. Look at Epstein money. You are the head of the FBI. You want us to believe you didn't know. James, I posted a picture earlier. Some people are saying that this is shells, and they have a political. Number one, he said he didn't know what 86. He didn't know it was political. And James Comey is going to say to a judge, I posted a picture of seashells. I, as the head of the FBI, the Steele dossier, the Russia hoax, I had no idea that these seashells were arranged and they would have a political interpretation. Do you guys believe this shit? He's saying, Judge, I just posted some seashells.
James Comey just called for the assassination of @POTUS Trump. DHS and Secret Service is investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. Noam, of course, has since been fired. Comey, who had already deleted the initial post, then posted this minutes after then Secretary Noam. Quote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assume.
So he didn't arrange the shells, and he is saying he had no idea that the shells had any political ramifications or violence. Listen.
Were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down.
So
bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Come on this way.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. James Comey said, I didn't know what 86 mean. I don't know. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. James Comey said, I didn't know it was seashells, Your Honor. I didn't know what those numbers mean. I didn't know. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Come on this way.
Huh?
You can see though, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see, barely.
James Comey, what's up with you? This is James Comey, black brother from another money. You can see, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see, barely. I'm innocent. I ain't do nothing. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my side of the story. I can't tell no other story. I'm innocent. And Mama, I love you. P.O.P. Hold it down.
James Comey. She got you, James Comey. James Comey, here you go. P.O.P. hold it down. James Comey said, I didn't know. James Comey said, I didn't know it was political. I didn't know nothing. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. James Comey said, I didn't know nothing. This is my story. I'm sticking to it. P.O.P. hold it down.
James Comey just called for the assassination of @POTUS Trump. DHS and Secret Service is investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. Noam, of course, has since been fired. Comey, who had already deleted the initial post, then posted this minutes after then Secretary Noam. Quote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the...
I never noticed, he said. I've never noticed. He said, I never noticed. You the head of the FBI.
Hey, I'm an innocent bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Come on this way. You can see though, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see barely. I'm innocent. I ain't do nothing. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my side of the story. I can't tell no other story. I'm innocent. And Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time. Right, these all good pimp squad.
James Comey, I know you hate me right now. James Comey, I know you hate me right now. James Comey, I know you hate me right now. Yes, your story. James, you stick to it. Stick to it, P.O.P.
P.O.P. all the time. Right, these all good pimp squad, baby, for life. Hey, I'm an innocent.
Pimp Squad for life, James Comey, Pimp Squad for life. Oh, God. Oh, God. He said, oh, shit. Pimp Squad for life. James Comey said, I don't know. It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Post down. The next day, Mr. Comey voluntarily participated in an interview with Secret Service agents at their Washington, D.C. field office, but no charges were ever filed. Then, on September 20th of last year, the president sent what was supposed to be a private message addressed to Pam, meaning the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who now has also been fired. The president accidentally posted that private message on Truth Social. There it is. It reads, in part, nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam, Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. He went on to say, we can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served. 5 days later, Mr. Comey was indicted for the first time. The charges were related to him allegedly lying to Congress 5 years earlier, and the statute of limitations was just days from running out. Now, at the time, the case was brought by newly installed acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, that woman there. True story, previously she had been one of President Trump's former personal lawyers. Her predecessor had resigned after refusing to prosecute the president's perceived political enemies. 2 months later, that case fell apart. The judge ruled that Halligan was unlawfully appointed, and yes, she is now gone too. Not fired, she left under pressure. Which brings us back to today. Why now, after nearly a year since Comey's social media post, did the DOJ bring this new case?
Did you always feel like this was a strong prosecution, or did something change recently?
This investigation just didn't come now. It's the result of a lot of work by law enforcement over the past year. We don't time when we bring cases around anything other than when the investigation is at a place where we should go to the grand jury, and that's exactly what we did in this case as well.
FBI agents and federal prosecutors have been working on this over the past year. Now, keeping them honest, the president has made no secret that he wants to see James Comey prosecuted. He even talked about it 2 days ago.
FISA was used against me, and very, very viciously by a dirty cop. You know, we had the Comey gang. Every one of those people should be prosecuted.
Well, Pam didn't make it happen, and now her replacement, the acting attorney general, is trying again.
Should he be prosecuted, you guys? Should he be prosecuted? Should Comey be prosecuted, you guys? That is the question. That is the question. P.O.P. hold it down. P.O.P. hold it down. One more time for the people. One more time for the people. P.O.P. hold it down. P.O.P. hold. One more time for the people. James Comey, we're going to dedicate this to you. Comey, this is dedicated to you. Stick to your story. James Comey, stick to your story. You didn't know what 86 meant. Even though you're the head of the FBI, you didn't know what 86 meant. You don't know who 47 is. The seashells magically appeared. You had your phone. You took a picture. You plead the fifth. P.O.P. hold it down. James Comey, that's my story, and I'm sticking to
I'm an
it.
innocent bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Come on this way.
Huh?
You can see though, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see barely.
Really?
I'm innocent. I ain't do nothing. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my side of the story. I can't tell no other story. I'm innocent, and Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time. Like these all good pimp squad, baby, for life.
P.O.P. hold it down. Pimp squad for life. P.O.P. hold it down. Pimp squad for life. You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make this shit up, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is great. This is great. What a great show. This is great. Donald Trump reacting. Now let's go to Kash Patel. I wanted to go to Kash Patel. Let's go to Kash Patel on the Comey. Let's stay with Comey. Let's stay with Comey. And I love Kash. I had a beer. I had another beer. 2 beers. 3 beers. 4 beers. Shout out to Kash Patel, who had a beer. I had a beer. 2 beers. 3 beers. 4 beers.
I lived through it and the media came at me then too. That just shows you that when you're over the target, you keep pummeling the target because the media is going to try and pummel you. We are not going to take this and have not taken this laying down. We did already indict former Director Comey, and that's going through the judicial process. But we also at this FBI, even though we uncovered what we uncovered back in the House Intel days, I had to come in here and find rooms that they hid from the world. I had to come in here and find access on our computer systems in restricted and prohibited case files that they purposely put in places for no one to see and find. We have found all this information. We are working with our Department of Justice partners, and I am never going to let this go because they not only have personally attacked the presidency of the United States and President Trump, but they tried to thwart our elections and rig the entire system. And that is not something that is going to stop. That is not something I'm going to allow on my watch. But you just have to remember, they built this disease temple over 20 and 30 years. We've got all the evidence. I can announce on your show that we've got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and their Attorney General Todd Blanche, and we are going to be making arrests, and it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon.
Well, Kash, hold on, because when you started this interview, you said, Maria, you and I have been working together for a long time, and this is exactly what you were referring to. You were on my show repeatedly talking about the Russia collusion story, and our audience wants to know why there's never any accountability. But specifically, the question that I asked you was about election integrity and whether or not you had any information to verify what President Trump says all the time, which is the election was rigged.
Double tap, hit the like button. Kash Patel responding to the James Comey indictment. Kash Patel.
The media came at me then too. That just shows you that when you're over the target, you keep pummeling the target because the media is going to try and pummel you. We are not going to take this and have not taken this laying down. We did already indict former Director Comey, and that's going through the judicial process. But we also at this FBI, even though we uncovered what we uncovered back in the House Intel days, I had to come in here and find rooms that they hid from the world. I had to come in here and find access on our computer systems in restricted and prohibited case files that they purposely put in places for no one to see and find. We have found all this information. We are working with our Department of Justice partners, and I am never going to let this go because they not only have personally attacked the presidency of the United States and President Trump, but they tried to thwart our elections and rig the entire system. And that is not something that is going to stop. That is not something I'm going to allow on my watch. But you just have to remember, they built this disease temple over 20 and 30 years. We've got all the evidence. I can announce on your show that we've got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and their Attorney General Todd Blanche, and we are going to be making arrests, and it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon.
Well, Kash, hold on, because when you started this interview, you said, Maria.
It's coming soon, man. And I want to see Adam Shifty Schiff. We want to see him all prosecuted, man. We want to see him all prosecuted. And I'm not buying this BS from Comey that he didn't know what he was doing. I'm not buying the BS that he is legally blind. I can see, this is my story. I'm sticking to it. No, Comey, you're going to have to come in and testify in front of a judge. And I want a judge to verify whether or not you believe James Comey is legally blind. If James Comey didn't know what 8647 means, if James Comey didn't know the violence or political ramifications to the social media post, that's something a child would say. A child would say, I didn't know the political and social ramifications of this public post. Bullshit. You, the former head of the FBI.
Well, Comey is in the courtroom, and the hearing is starting now. The very first appearance of this former FBI director accused of threatening the president's life with that post on Instagram a year ago with seashells in the sand. This is the first hearing that will happen in this courthouse, the Eastern District of Virginia.
Seashells that said 8647.
But this is a case that's charged in North Carolina because that's where that beach photo was taken. This first appearance, Comey now being under arrest in the courtroom. He's going to be before a Well, Comey is in the
Seashells that said 8647. How biased can you be, CNN? How biased can you be? Not seashells. He's not being prosecuted for seashells. He's being prosecuted for seashells that said 8647. 86. Well, just like Don Lemon. Put in the chat, should Don Lemon be prosecuted? Should Don Lemon be prosecuted? Yes, Don Lemon should be prosecuted and go to jail.
During Hot Topics earlier today,
James Comey, this is The View, and someone on The View actually having an honest opinion. Listen, James Comey should be prosecuted and put in jail.
discussed the most recent federal indictment of former FBI Director James Comey related to an Instagram post of seashells, an Instagram post that he deleted the very next day and apologized for. Do you think Comey's post rises to the level of a criminal threat against the life of the president and supports an indictment?
I do. I'll explain why. After Comey's post, and this is where I go back to Saturday's events, the responsibility of certain individuals like us. We all have a very big voice. He is a former FBI director. He knows what 8647 meant. There's no question about it. He actually went on TV later.
What do you think 86 means?
To kill the president, to get rid of the president. That's what it means. By the way, his words, not mine. If you look at his late night show.
But the dictionary disagrees with you on that.
Well, he's the FBI director.
They use it in restaurants. Do they mean to kill any?
You don't think it
what
might
are they?
let me tell you let me just tell you what happened after James Comey's post.
Can you believe that in 2026, this is what we come to, adults arguing over what 86 means? We have a real problem on the left. I mean, it's gone too far. I mean, this is into absurdity now. We need to have a discussion over what 86 means, and if a grown man who was the former head of the FBI understands what 86 means, 47. Like, if we can't have that level of discourse, then America is done, bro. That we have to talk about another direction. The Democrats are off the fucking farm. They're off the farm, bro. They're off the farm. If as an adult, and these are all women, if we can't have an intellectual conversation, if we can't come to an agreement on what 8647 means, if you're going to argue with me like we're in a sandbox, like I did not spend years in college, like you're not 50, like Whoopi is not 60, 70 years old, I can't fucking believe 50-year-old, 60-year-old women want to debate over what 8647 means. Just fuck, man. Come on. We can't start there because that's a non-starter. You end the conversation. It's a non-starter. If we can't fucking agree on what 80, then it just, this is what happens on TikTok. This is what happens on every fucking debate with a fucking liberal, with a fucking Democrat. It's a non-fucking starter because they go with this fucking illogical off the farm bullshit. It's a non, and then they start giggling, and then they start trolling, and then they start trying to get you upset. And our country is fucking dying. Our country is fucking dying while you fucking giggle. I can't even, I'm so triggered. I can't, bro. Like, if we can't start by knowing what the fuck 8647 mean, then fuck, bro.
Events. The responsibility of certain individuals like us. We all have a very big voice. He is a former FBI director. He knows what 8647 meant. There's no question about it. He actually went on TV later.
What do you think 86 means?
to kill the president, to get rid of the president. That's what it means. By the way, his words, not mine. If you look at his late night show.
But the dictionary disagrees with you on that.
Well,
he's
also,
the
they use
FBI
it,
director.
they use it in restaurants. Do they mean to kill any?
You don't think it
what
might
do they
get
kill?
removed? Let me just tell you what happened after James Comey's post. A gentleman posted that about me. He posted on Twitter 86 Haba, and he was also charged. He was charged in Florida, and he was held accountable because you cannot do it. Now, this is an FBI director. We have responsibilities. You guys have responsibilities not to call the president certain things or say things that could incite violence. I most certainly think after Saturday, I have a completely new perspective on how important our voices are and how we use them.
Can I mention one thing that Matt Gaetz also used that 86 many times and nothing happened to him?
Well, I think we look at everything. I'll be honest with you. Absolutely everything is in context. I don't think anybody is immune to it. I don't think we should be sitting here and nobody has condemned Jimmy Kimmel for his comments. Those were despicable.
Joy pointed out earlier, and the president also posted death to Democrats. Do you think the president should be held responsible for that?
When you, all due respect. I haven't seen that post. I will tell you what I did.
It does exist.
Okay. What I can tell you is this. And who was the attorney general and the DOJ at that point?
Probably Pam Bondi, no?
Yeah. Here's how I feel about this. Here's directly how I feel about this. Nobody should be inciting violence, period. That's my perspective.
Including the president.
But you have to remember something. The Department of Justice brings real cases. We are not Jack Smith. We are not Letitia James. We bring real cases against people.
No, I know. I actually had the pleasure of serving as a former federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice. But let me ask you this. I do believe.
So Trump never said that. I just checked on Google. Trump never said that. Trump never said it. And that's why she's never seen it. That's why you can't find it. He was talking about the Seditious Six. And he said if they were punished and convicted, they can be punished to death. He never did a blanket generalization for all Democrats. He was referring to the Seditious Six and their charges, and if convicted, what they would be convicted and possibly one of the things that could happen to them if found guilty. So he never said that. He never said that. But Comey did post 8647. Let's keep going.
Believe that this is a vindictive prosecution against Comey, directed by the president, and so far with little success because he's done this many times. As Trump's personal attorney, you actually were sanctioned nearly $1 million for filing a frivolous civil lawsuit against Comey, against Hillary Clinton and others that a federal judge called political grievances masquerading as legal claims. So why should anyone believe this pattern of targeting Trump's enemies is about justice and not revenge?
If you think that the Russian collusion hoax, if you think that the things that we've now seen evidence of in this Department of Justice aren't real, I just tell you to sit tight because things are coming. Because what they did was
sit tight, bitch. Sit tight, bitch.
Evidence of in this Department of Justice aren't real. I just tell you to sit tight because things are coming. Because what they did was weaponized. I don't want to hear about weaponization because the reason you all know who I am is because of weaponization. I sat through targeting people saying we're going to get Trump. And then a Hillary Clinton appointed judge sanctioned me for suing Hillary Clinton. By the way, I'm proud of that. Well, I'm proud of what I did.
Actually,
because it was the right thing to do.
Let me get Alyssa in here. Let me get Alyssa.
I just have to correct something.
Sit down and shut up. You ain't got shit to say. You're lying.
Okay. It was actually Bill Clinton, but that appointed that judge, but also a three-judge panel, consisting of a Bush appointee, a Trump appointee, and a Biden appointee actually agreed with that court's decision. And in a 36-page opinion.
Which one was it again? Repeat it.
And basically,
I do want to move on because
do your thing.
It's all bullshit and lies, man. All bullshit and lies. Comey needs to be, and I love how she said, somebody who said 86, somebody who said 86 her is prosecuted. Just like I said, under the Biden administration, under the Joe Biden administration, Joe Biden's DOJ prosecuted women, mothers, under the FACE Act. How many people know this? When we talk about Don Lemon and equal justice, Joe Biden put mothers, American mothers, in jail for years for praying in front of abortion clinics. How many people know about this? They prosecuted them with the FACE Act. These are everyday white women, mothers and wives, and Joe Biden administration put these white women and mothers in prison via the FACE Act for praying in front of abortion clinics. But Don Lemon is still free. Double tap at the like button.
Yesterday, James Comey was indicted on the seashell thing. We'll get into this here in a second. First, here's how he responded. Cut to.
This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be.
Shut up.
And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values.
Yeah. Okay, great. Good for you. All right. I want to make sure I'm consistent. Can you check with Glen AI, Ricky? If you check with Glen AI to see.
It was one of the first things I did this morning. I knew we were going to have to talk about this story, and I want to know what you said back when this initially came out in 2025. You said at first you didn't think Comey meant kill him, and you interpreted it as getting him out of office. That was very, very generous of you. But then you heard Tulsi Gabbard talk about how he actually may have violated the law, and you kind of changed course, and you said that he
it came from something in New York. I'm pulling this way out of my butt. Something in New York during Prohibition, and one street address on one side was like 125th, and on the other side of the block it was like 86, and it meant get out of that go 86 it. So go through the 86 exit because the cops are coming in for the other exit. And so I interpreted it more like that. But then I remember hearing Tulsi Gabbard talk about it, and she talked about him with the mob and how the mob uses 86. That is the order to kill. And I adjusted and was like, well, no, he's not more of a historian. He's more of a prosecutor with the mob. He would know exactly what that means. Okay, so I'm still there. He knew what that meant. This whole innocent bull crap. Okay. But now let's look at what he was indicted on. Here are the charges. Count 1, threatening the president, a violation of U.S. Code 18871. I'm not going to read all these codes. It makes it a crime to knowingly and willfully make a threat to take the life of or inflict bodily harm on the president of the United States. Is that what he did? Is that what he did? You got to go back to the Vietnam War. The Supreme Court, there was a kid, Jonathan Turley pointed this out the other day. There was a kid in the Vietnam War who said, if they give me a rifle to fight and I have the opportunity, the first one I'll shoot is LBJ. Okay. Wow. And the Supreme Court said that wasn't a violation. If that wasn't a violation, certainly seashells is not. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's where the court decided with LBJ. And we were living in exactly the same kind of thing. People had been killed, et cetera, et cetera. Count 2, transmitting a threat in interstate foreign commerce. I love this one. This prohibits knowingly transmitting via Instagram, which crosses state lines, a communication containing a threat to injure or kill another person. The indictment uses similar reasonable recipient language as above. Maximum penalty is up to 10 years, 5 years for each count. Now, it's not going to make me popular with you today, but that's okay. My job is to tell you what I think and how I'm looking at it. And I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just here to tell you this is what I think. And this is not going to be popular with people who are sick and tired, because I am too, sick and tired of these people getting away with anything. And you know what? You could make a case to me that going after Al Capone for income tax was the right thing to do. But I wish we could get people on actual things that they did and not income tax. But I don't think this is income tax. I don't think you can prove anything. Now, let me say this. Jason, what did I say earlier this morning when I first came in? We first talked about this. It's important that I preface it, and I didn't. So let me do it now. It is important that I preface it with what we know right now. For them to file this indictment with the seashell picture seems pretty light. You know what I mean? That seems like anybody in the office would go, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to hold. That'll be rejected immediately. My initial take, if this is all they have, is two. One, it won't hold up constitutionally. And two, I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi. By any stretch of the imagination, am I a fan of Pam?
So you let it ride? So you let it ride, Bill. Glenn, you let it ride? I don't think we can let this ride, bro.
This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go.
I think he should be prosecuted. I don't think when we have White House shooting, this president has been 3 attempts. He's shot in the ear. I don't think that's okay. I think James Comey would feel differently, and he wouldn't have this smug look on his face if someone was trying to kill him. Are you guys listening? I think James Comey would feel differently, and he wouldn't have this smug look on his face if someone were trying to kill him. He had been shot in the ear, and he had lived through 3 assassination attempts. I don't think he would have this smug smirk on his face if someone said this about him after he had been shot and tried to be murdered 3 times. I think he would feel a little bit differently. I think everybody, I think the problem is that there are so many people who say, fuck Donald Trump, that they don't understand how it feels when someone is trying to kill you. A lot of Americans can't relate to what it feels like when someone is trying to kill you. And they actually have shot you, and you have an 18-year-old son, and you have a wife. You have an 18-year-old son, you have a wife, and they keep trying
here, but you
to kill you over and over and over. I think you would feel a little bit different about that joke. How many people agree with me in the chat?
Is this Instagram?
Instagram.
You
yeah.
grammed this. You were walking down the beach. What happened? You were walking down the beach and you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
you didn't do this. Somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk preparing for this week.
Right.
So he didn't do it. I don't believe that. So we have to believe he didn't do it. And he was childish and irresponsible enough to take the picture and post it.
Pull out of my book.
Yep.
She looked at it and said, why'd someone put their address in the sand?
All right.
And then we stood at it trying to figure, looked at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something in a restaurant.
Right. It's off the menu.
Yeah. I said, no, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks. Let's 86 it.
I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk.
Do you realize how stupid this is? Do you realize how stupid this is, that these white people continue to try to redefine the term? This is just so, we have reached rock bottom. Oh, I remember I was the bartender. Oh, I was doing this. Oh, I was doing this. Oh, we were 86. My wife said, oh, I remember working as a waitress. Who gives a fuck if you worked as a waitress? Who gives a fuck if you were a bartender? 86 means 86. These motherfuckers it's insulting, bro. It's insulting, bro.
This place stinks. Let's 86 it.
I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk. Like, let's 86 them. Let's like give them a low proof alcohol, something like that. Yeah.
And so I said, I think it's a clever political message. And she said,
oh, he admits it's a political message. But in his statement, he said he didn't know it was so he continues to lie. He admits it was a political message. Remember, he said he didn't know it was a political message. Which one is it?
You should take a picture of it. I said, sure. And then she said, you should Instagram that. And boom.
Well,
idiot. He told us he didn't know it was a political message. Remember that, you guys? Anderson Cooper, they just said he didn't know it. There's a statement Anderson Cooper played where he said, I didn't know it was a political message. But he took it down, right? Wait a minute. I played it, but I gotta look at that. I won't. Because he said he didn't know it was a political message, but now we have a video of him admitting he knew it was a political message, right? Which one is it? And this is an FBI. Which one is it, bro? I don't know. I hear my kids and my wife, my family's. I may not be able to show this. I showed it already. I love you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. I gotta say goodnight. I love you guys. I gotta say goodnight. We caught Comey. Got him. We caught Comey. Red-handed.
Hey, I'm an innocent bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Come on this way.
Huh?
You can see though, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see, barely. I'm innocent. I ain't do nothing. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my side of the story. I can't tell no other story. I'm innocent. And Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time. Right, these all good pimp squad, baby, for life.
Okay. So let's get to it. Here it is.
Minutes after then Secretary known. Quote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. The next day.
So he did say he assumed it was a political message. So he knew it was a political message. The only thing that's in debate is whether or not he knew what 86 meant. And all the people are saying that 86 has all these different definitions. I think that's bullshit. And I think it's sad that the FBI director would do that. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. God bless America. God bless the memory of Charlie Kirk. Y'all have a good night. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Everybody right now, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. Everybody right now watching, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. Hit the like. Everybody watching right now, hit the subscribe button. You can subscribe for free. I don't know if you know that. You can subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you any money to subscribe to the channel. Double tap, hit the like button, and go subscribe. I want to thank everybody for my super chats. I want to thank everybody for the membership. Bridge came on yesterday. We had church yesterday. We had a sermon, and Bridge gifted out 10 memberships. I want to say welcome to all of my new members. Use your emojis. Use your membership privileges. Get ready for a members-only live stream. Thank you, and I love you. God bless Trump. God bless the memory of Charlie Kirk. God bless America. Every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. But if you hit the notification bell, if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you won't miss a live stream. A lot of people, you see the live, you enjoy it, and then you be like, you think it's easy, but YouTube does what it does. So if you want to make sure that you can watch me and you can easily find me. You don't have to watch every day, but if you want to, because I have some YouTubers, I love them, and then I haven't subscribed, and then I go on YouTube, and it's going to be in my FYP, and they're not there, and I'm like, I don't remember their name, and it's difficult to find that channel again that I fell in love with. So everybody watching right now who's fell in love with the content, with the channel, big favor, hit subscribe, hit the like, and if you're so inclined, join the channel. We have a Somalian special. Who knows what TPS is? Temporary protection has been suspended for Somalians. They allegedly stole $19 billion. Ilhan Omar married a white man, married her brother, worth $30 million. You can support Ilhan Omar. You can support $19 billion. You can support We are the world. We are the children. Somalians came here and stole 19 billion, allegedly. They built learning centers. The children didn't learn shit. One more time. They built learning centers. The children didn't learn shit. We are the world. We are the children. Somalians came here and stole 19 billion. They built learning centers. The children didn't learn shit. I said, the children didn't learn shit. I said, they built learning centers. Learning, Learing. They built learning centers. The children didn't learn shit. We are the world. We are the children. Somalians came here and stole 19 billion. They built learning centers, but the children didn't learn shit. World War 11. I love you guys. Everybody right now watching, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the membership, hit the plus sign, become a member, $5 a month, 25 cents a day, or you can feed a starving Somalian. It's up to you. Swollen belly, flies on the eyeballs. Help this starving African child. They don't have any food. They don't have any water. Donate to help feed this starving African child. Bring this starving African child to America to steal billions of dollars and open learning centers. You can feed starving Somalian children, swollen bellies, flies on their eyes, can't get to water, but they know how to steal welfare. Or you can support my channel for $5 a month. $5 a month. $5 a month. Or you can support the Learning Center where children don't learn shit. $5 a month. Support me, Perfect Timing Podcast. Or you can support starving Somalians. And you can support the Learning Center where children don't learn shit. I'm sorry. The Learning Center where children don't learn shit. Join the channel. $5 a month, 25 cents a day. We are the world. We are the children. Somalians came here and stole 19 billion. They built learning centers. The children didn't learn shit. Remember who told you this? Good night, everybody. Perfect Timing Podcast. I love you.